Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the interview room. Having a couple of glitches here for a second, but we're back. It's great to see everybody on this wonderful Wednesday evening. How are you doing tonight, Leek? As you can tell, we've got Bob in the house. We've got Josh in the house from the lab. If you've not subscribed to Josh's channel, it is one of the channels that I profile on my channel. So it's at the very bottom. Just hit it and you'll subscribe over to his house. So it's great to see you guys. What's up?
How you doing, Chris? Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks. Likewise. Thanks for having me. Good to see you all.
Yeah. And, this was kind of a promptu Wednesday night. Thought maybe we would catch up, with the crowd here, our friends in the chat, and all those that follow us here on the interview room. Everybody, how are you guys doing in the chat? Tell me where where you're at over here. We've got sunny California. Let's see here. Who else we got in here? Thank you so much to our mods, to our Patreon members, to our subscribers. Without you, we can't do any of this. And so I don't know about you guys, but I'm up for an evening of just answering questions and taking questions from the folks that support us here. What do you guys think?
Absolutely. Let's roll.
One of my favorite type of shows.
We have so much going on with the Alex Murdaugh thing, his conviction being overturned, Corey Richards, she's going away for some cheese sandwiches with bologna for the rest of her life.
Yeah, she had her mugshot came out today.
Oh, it did? I didn't see it.
Yeah, and I actually posted it on my Instagram and just put enjoy because she's gone forever and good riddance.
Bob, what would be the plate on the dinner plate for Miss Richards? Do you think? What do you think will be the special?
Probably a bologna sandwich, maybe two of them if she's lucky, on white bread, some kind of a stupid little cracker with some sugar in it, and if she's lucky, she'll get some mustard for that bologna.
No mayo?
No mayo. No, that goes bad. You can't have mayo in the jail. It goes bad.
No mayo. Spoken like a true undersheriff who has.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. Some jails will serve anything, but generally that's what she's going to get. Maybe occasionally one night a week they'll have a hot meal or something. But
gross.
Yeah, she'll be a hot mess before we know it. That's for sure. And I'm feeling a little cantankerous tonight. So even though I'm good-natured, Chris, this one.
There he is.
I think every once in a while I want to be this guy.
There he is.
So I'll be a combination of two this evening, with how life goes here. I'm just kidding. So Corey Richards, the ultimate grifter for, taking money to a whole new place. she's begging for money, you know, and of course you'll never hear us do that on this channel. We will never ever. We appreciate everything you do for us, but we'll never ask you for anything other than one thing, and that is to subscribe to the channel and then hit the button to send it around the world, as well as if you would share this, continue on your social media platforms. So much happening in the world today. I have to also tell you that we have a really special, it's kind of a mini series. You know, it's going to be a series of multiple interviews, and with John Ramsey and his family. And we have been working with them behind the scenes for quite some time. And the Cold Case Foundation is going to finally talk to the public with John. He'll be present on every live stream starting Sunday. And so we've assembled a panel like the Mayo Clinic. I'm not going to go into it tonight because I don't want to, you know, tip off our hat on where we're going to go and how we're going to get there. But I can tell you this, there are members of our association that we've done some very interesting things. So you're going to have to put your seatbelts on, be patient with me till Sunday night, but it is definitely something you're not going to want to miss because we have come at this from an entire different direction, and you'll find out what's going to happen. So it's going to be a good one. Don't miss it. Sunday night, 8 Eastern. I put the thumbnail up already. And this will be episode number 1. And then of course there will be multiples behind that. And we're going to lay out everything one piece at a time. But here's the cool thing. You're going to be able to ask John Ramsey personally through the chat about what you think and what he thinks. And that's going to be a rarity outside of CrimeCon, where he sets up on the stage. Here he is going to take your questions one-on-one. No editing, no scripting. It's going to be raw. And that's the way we roll at the Cold Case Foundation. And that's the way we've been working with him, like I said, you know, for quite some time now, at least over a year. And many of you know that, you know, my background was kids. And, you know, years ago, actually it was 1990. Remember, Bobby, after the Leticia Hernandez thing was going on, we had about 5 or 6 kids in San Diego County, Laura Arroyo. We had the Sellers brothers, Van Dam, those kids, you know, a lot of the kids that were happening. And anyway, I got an opportunity, got trained in criminal behavior analysis in relationship to pedophilia, and those guys that choose children for sexual gratification. And 1997, I was tasked with finding some RSOs that lived a couple blocks away from the Ramseys back then. And I, at that time, knew a lot of the inside details. And so that was my first exposure. It was February of 97. And I still have the LA Times article. My boss leaked it to the press, go figure, Bob, that we were involved in it behind the scenes. And we were looking for an RSO from I think it was 1968, that was living around the corner from where JonBenet was. And it was my job to go find the guy, put a package together in an interview, and send it back to Lou Schmidt at the district attorney's office. And so that's the first time I ever heard about the murder weapon at that time. Well, I've been, had this stuff for the last 30 years, and it's full circle now because the Cold Case Foundation's been working with John for at least over a year now, behind the scenes. And we are now going to start talking about our results. And, we'll see where it's going to go. But it's definitely going to be exclusive. And it's something you're only going to hear here on the interview room. And it's going to be the only place you're going to be able to interact with him in terms of one-on-one. So, and also Lou Schmidt's group is also involved, and a couple other folks. So we've had everybody involved in the case in terms of fresh eyes. And John Douglas even weighed in. And for a lot of folks that don't know, John Douglas actually was there. He spent about almost 4 days on the scene back in 1997. And interesting thing about that, and Greg's going to tell the story, but John was with Greg in Greg's office when he got the call to go to the Ramsey situation. So the universe is on full schedule, and the universe is on schedule. Now here we are 30 years later, and we're talking to them again for the last year. So don't miss it. I'm hyping it right now. Please send that thumbnail out. It's going to be very, very good. So that said, what do you guys want to talk about tonight in the chat? What do you want to talk about, Josh? What do you want to talk about, Bob? What's been going on? And Bob, give the audience that doesn't know you, they should by now, but give the audience a little insight into who Bob Gilliam is. By the way, this is a great man above me up here. He's just amazing. And while you're doing that, I'm going to try to find your motor boots.
Not that again. Well, thanks for having me, Chris. Josh, good to be with you as well. And I know Karen's lurking around somewhere in the background. And big thanks to all your awesome mods. It's always a pleasure to be here. So thank you. I was a police officer for 36 years. I'm now retired. During that 36 years, I worked a variety of assignments, including many years as a detective. I was also a motor officer in Oceanside, California, where Chris and I worked together. And I ended up leaving California a few years later and worked in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and also in Denver, Colorado. I was a Denver police officer for 11 years. And some of the best years I had in law enforcement were in Denver, so loved it there. Later on in my career, I promoted a little bit, and I commanded a couple of different detective units, and so that's just a little bit about me.
And he's humble, and he's a great fisherman, so you can see that. And he's got a couple of varmint equalizers behind him in a safe. And
More
now,
than that.
yeah. And my other buddy here tonight is Josh. Josh, tell him a little bit about who you are. I think a lot of folks may know you, but there are a lot of folks that don't know you.
That's true. Well, Chris, again, thank you, and Bob. It's always a pleasure. This is, I think, second or third time us being on a show together, and you were just on my show the other day. Chris, I had you on, what was it, Monday? I think we talked to Alec Murdoch, which was fantastic. I have a channel called The Lab here on YouTube, and I've been podcasting for probably since 2015. So a little over 11 years, a variety of different things. I also make short form documentaries and produce a lot of different content as well. And like I said, in October, my first feature full-length documentary will be released about a cold case here in my hometown that I've been working on for close to 4 years. It's been a lot. I'm really excited to put it out, and can't wait for that. So that's me.
Awesome. All right. So now I'm trying to get to, I'm going to pin, I got to make sure that I don't get feedback here. I'm going to pin the link to join us tonight for discussion in the chat. So I'm going to pull this up here, and then I'm going to put this in.
Hey, Chris, there's somebody in the chat from, this is a first for me. Maybe, I don't know if it is for you. Sam DD is from Antarctica.
Oh, wow.
You ever had somebody from Antarctica in your chat?
Never.
Me neither. They're from a weather station.
Are you serious?
That's what it says. Yeah, it's unbelievable. That's really cool.
It is cool.
Okay, so I hope I just did this correctly. It should be at the top of, oh, yep, I did it right. There's Mr. Joey. All right, stand by for a minute. Joey.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, how are you?
Hey, great. Hey, what's up, Josh? Hey, Chris.
Hey, Joey.
And, nice to meet you, Bob.
Good to meet you.
I see you have the Pro Vault behind you when there's, Chris is known as the Vault, so it's kind of funny. I never noticed that till now. Okay, yeah, keep that thing locked while I ask my question. So before I ask my question, you guys, this goes with my question. You guys know the Bionic Man, Bionic Woman show? Were you fans?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Bionic Woman was played by actress Lindsay Wagner.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know her story, her personal story, something that happened to her? Okay. So in 1979, she was boarding getting ready to get on a plane with her mother. And right before 10 minutes before she's about to board the plane, she had this premonition that plane was going to crash. And she begged her mom, let's not get on this. They didn't get on the plane. She was freaking out. Lo and behold, the plane did end up crashing. It became one of the worst plane crashes in history, in American history. It was called American Airlines Flight 191. That happened May 25th in 1979. So with Guthrie and where we are at this stage, where a lot of professionals, of course, you guys included, are continuing to explore every avenue possible to try to figure out what may have happened to this poor woman. And it's already been hinted that this is already being flirted with becoming a cold case soon, unfortunately. Just the flirtation, not that that's going to happen. So my question is this, with and you both are police officers, Chris and Bob. Josh, not yet. I'm sure he's working on it secretly after he finishes his doc.
They don't want to give me a really.
That's why he's in the woods all the time. Yeah.
I'm a hiker.
And it's wild that Dr. Gary's not on, because he's all about stats. And so, before I finish my question, statistically speaking, I'm glad Gary's not on, because Gary, statistically, this is a wrap, because the stats don't support psychic wins. As far as there's been very famous failures, like this woman, what was her name, Dorothy Allison, with the Atlanta child murders. She gave 42, I think, potential names, and none of them was Wayne Williams. Elizabeth Smart psychics were used. I myself, 2 decades ago, went to the Kings County archive department. They were big when the Bundy thing first started happening. They were big on using psychics and hypnotists, and I did listen to those recordings. It was very interesting, but nothing really came out of that. So finally, my question is, what are your feelings about the use of psychics, particularly at this stage of an investigation where there's been so much folly, there's been so much controversy? How do you guys feel about the use of psychics in this case, and just basically period? Are you guys supportive of it? And that's my question.
Bob?
I'm not supportive. I don't believe in it. And, it's not to diss people that believe that they're psychics, but I don't believe in Bigfoot or UFOs either. So that may tell you how I feel about it.
Why does that not surprise me, Bob?
I'm just a realist. And,
I told a joke the other day, Chris, on the show that Bob thinks that Roadhouse is a romantic comedy.
It's not.
No, I don't believe it is. But yeah, Joey, I think that there are things that are unexplainable, and I think that there are people that probably have more of a connection with certain things than others. The problem that I have with the psychic community is that if there are real ones out there, for every real one, there's a million frauds. And it really dilutes those situations. Like, I believe in premonitions, I guess. I believe in, the spiritual, I believe in the spiritual realm, but it's very, very hard to discern, to me, who is real and who is not, because of the rampant fraud that goes on in those communities. Now, I'm not saying that they don't exist or they do exist. I'm with Bob. I don't believe in major psychic abilities, because if that were the case, I think there would be no reason for investigators. Now, Bigfoot and UFOs is a whole different subject, Bob. I'm going to disagree with you on that a little bit there. I swear I've heard a Bigfoot roar before up here in Northern California. I've never seen one, but
have you? So why? So let me challenge you on that, Josh. Why is it we can never see, with all of our technical cameras and awesome lenses and all of the improvements that have been made in photography and videography over the years, why is it we can't get a clear picture of Bigfoot or a UFO? They're all fuzzy. They're all way out there in the universe. Even when they're flying over the Atlantic, we're told, or the Pacific Ocean, we still can't get clear photography.
Well, Bob, from a scientific standpoint, and I'll take pride in starting my comment, because Gary's not here, but from Jane Goodall is a very respected scientist, anthropologist who has gone on the record. She's gone into many communities where they have her theory from a scientific standpoint is it's some kind of Neanderthal that has been spotted, and sort of the last of the Mohicans. I myself have Neanderthal blood, so I gotta support that. Not So, but listen, before we got to go to Chris, but Chris, before you answer the thing, because everybody's going around Bigfoot and UFOs and spooky stuff, there's the psychic thing also. I was leaning more towards a psychic being just another tool of a toolbox to sort of have leads for character profiling, and it's just another person, another tool, another screwdriver in the box to say, well, maybe the person is someone who listens to this kind of music or goes to this kind of coffee shop. And it just helps for the profiles, I would think. But Chris, I know you're not going to believe in UFOs, Bigfoot, and all that stuff. And you're the kind of guy, by the way, who's going to get abducted and you're going to change your tune. Trust me. But what do you have to do? What do you have to say about psychics?
Well, the first thing I want to say about Joey is
You're funny.
you should have known what I was going to say.
Yeah, of course.
know,
Yeah, of course.
Right from the
Yeah.
get-go. But you're a fast. I love your calls. I think you're a fascinating human being, and I hope I get to meet you in person one day, because you're very intelligent, and I've listened to your call-ins on many times. But to answer your question, my personal, and I'm just going to go by my own authenticity in terms of my personal experiences. I believe that some people, whatever you want to call it, however you want to identify it, to Josh's point earlier, there are people with gifts. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it can be measured, but I know for a fact, because I've seen it, I've experienced it in my own life, where you just have, the sense, like you said, the intuition of her not wanting to get on that plane has turned into saving the rest of her life. Okay. And that in of itself, however it can be explained, it's got to be a higher something. For me, that would be, in my way of thinking, is obviously a religious context. For others, it's the universe is on schedule. For many others, it's, sitting and, rubbing the belly of the Buddha or whatever, right? I mean, there has to be some type of structured universal control over that thought process. There is something greater than ourselves out there, in my opinion. And what that is, I can only give you my own personal experience. I have worked with psychics. That was my assignment during Leticia Hernandez's kidnapping. I was the new guy, in the unit. So I spent, almost a year and a half with psychics. And they were from all over the United States. There was a famous one that kept sending tapes, this is where you're going to find her. And I think I've told the story, ad nauseum here, where I got a coffee cup back here. I don't know if you can't see it here, but I'll pull my camera back. You can see it up on my thing over there. And it says McRockpile on it, because I was digging up, rock piles. I was digging up trees. We were, all kinds of stuff, looking for the remains of Leticia Hernandez. And lo and behold, it was, she was found, 20 something miles away from where she was abducted. So we were focused all across the United States. And so my personal opinion, do I think there's something there? Yes. Do I think people have that gift, whatever that is? I think they do. Some people do. And, so I hope that helps answer your question. I got 4 other people lined up behind you, brother, but feel free to always call in. And, I want to meet you in person. Maybe one day, if hopefully you go to CrimeCon one day or whatever.
I'll see you at CrimeCon. Take care of yourself. And,
Are you going to CrimeCon?
Yeah, I'm going to tap your shoulder.
Okay, introduce yourself and let's spend some time.
Take care, Bob. You got to believe. You got to believe. You got to put a poster behind you. I believe. All right, take care of yourself, man.
Okay, I'll work on it, but don't hold your breath, brother.
I love that guy. He's awesome. Okay, let's see here. Let's get to Leslie. Leslie, can you hear us?
Yes, I can, Chris. Hi.
Welcome to the program this evening. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. I'm just calling in. I've had some really crazy thoughts about Nancy Guthrie.
Okay.
And they claim they can't keep finding you can't find DNA, can't find DNA. All we find is this. Maybe there is no DNA to find. Maybe the DNA is all there is. People that keep coming in the house all the time is all they're going to find, which leads me to believe, well, I can't say it, but I think everybody knows what I'm thinking.
You know, your insight is very, very, very good. And let's see how this all flushes out. We're so grateful that folks like you are, you know, keeping her in your prayers and your thoughts, and that you have those, you know, kind of that intuition in of itself. And, you know, hopefully we'll get to some answers pretty soon. But thank you so much for your comment. We're very grateful that you jumped in here.
I love your channel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Okay, have a great night.
You too. Good night.
Okay, we're going to Beth. Beth, how are
Hello.
you? Hi.
How are you? I'm in Houston.
Okay, welcome.
I'm kind of a new viewer, so I apologize if this has ever been asked before.
No,
But I want
no,
to know from the panel, have you ever had a case where you question people and their alibi checked out and everything, but in the back of your mind, you're thinking this person could have done it. And so you let them go because you can't detain them, hoping that they'll make a mistake, flub up, or when you get the evidence back, like the DNA, that it'll point to them. And even that, do you have the sources go out and tell the media that there's no suspect, waiting for them to make a bad move? In other words, I'm wondering if they already kind of know who did this, but they're keeping it under wraps. And having the sources tell the media, no, and maybe did you ever keep your downline from even knowing that information?
Great question. I can tell you the answer is yes to all of the comments that you've made, where the best kind of investigations is you bring somebody in, lock them down to a statement, whatever that is. And, you know, you say, thank you very much. You know, we're going to continue the investigation. And if we come up with something else, we'll be in contact. And then, of course, you try to hold it as close to the chest as you can within the investigative team. You don't want it to push it out, you know, to too many places. But the downside to that is you don't come out to the public and tell everybody that certain, you know, the direction that you've been going, that things have been cleared up. Bob, what say you?
Yeah, I agree. For the most part, I'm on record saying that I believe that they're working suspects or suspect. And this is, you know, I know we're not talking about cold case here, but this is not a cold case in my opinion. They're working it, they're building a case, and this case will be solved. So with respect to the media, the answer is yes, I have done that at the detective level. At the command level, I was a PIO when I was a lieutenant, and a PIO when I was an undersheriff. And my job in those positions was to have a relationship with the media, and I did, and I had a good relationship for the most part with the local media where I worked. And I always gave them something. Now, that's something, and I never gave away any information without first checking with my detectives to make sure I wasn't giving away the boat. But you all, as a PIO, you always give the media something. And the reason you do that is if you tell them nothing, if you stay silent, you tell them no comment, they're going to come up with something, whether it's true or not. They will make up something. They will come up with some narrative so that they can go forth with their story.
And that happens on its own anyway, too. But, you know, at least there's some direction there. But I've seen cases where people weren't considered suspects, or they said, you know, they're not a suspect, you know, we're ruling them out, and then they get ruled back in. So just because somebody comes out and says, yeah, this person is not a person of interest or a suspect or whatever it is that you want to call somebody, just because somebody says, you know, this person is not the focus of our investigation right now, or these people, you know, we don't believe have anything to do with it, whatever that is, that can change at the drop of a hat, just depending on where the evidence goes. Sometimes in certain cases, the evidence leads in one direction, and then you get something else, and it heads back in the direction that you originally thought that you weren't going. I'm sure Bob and Chris have both had those sort of things happen. But so I wouldn't put too much stock into anything until it's all said and done.
Yeah. Great comment, Beth.
Thank you so much.
You betcha.
Thank you, Beth.
Have a good evening. Appreciate you calling in. All right, we're going to Nadia in Miami Beach. Nadia, you're on the program. How are you? Hello, Nadia.
Hi, can you hear me? Nadia.
Yeah, Nadia. How are you? I apologize.
I'm talking to you guys. There's no time limit, right? I'll give it great.
You're very low. Your volume's very low. If you can get closer to your mic.
Yeah, make sure to mute your YouTube page as well.
Can you?
Is it better now?
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
yeah. That's great. Great to hear you.
Is it better now?
Yes, that's perfect.
Thank you.
What's your question?
So first of all, I just wanted to say that I really, really admire and appreciate all the job that you guys do in law enforcement. I read all of John Douglas' books in my 20s because I was really into serial killers and to forensic psychology. And I really think this is amazing. Forensic psychology is something to me that is so, so amazing. And I heard Greg talking yesterday and how he used to substitute John when he was not there and stuff like that. That was amazing to be able to listen to him because you can feel that he has that in him. He just sits back and he can read stuff. He can know stuff. That's what a forensic, psychologist does. Like pretty much they go into a crime scene and they, that's how they try to find out who committed that crime based on the crime scene because they have no idea who did it, right? And those types of crimes. So in this situation, that's something I love John Lem too. I love all of you, but John is amazing. He's so funny and so smart too, and so much experience. So something that John said, it's something that I've been thinking since the beginning. I'm the kind of person that I have a lot of intuition. Like I can feel things a lot, and not only I feel it, but then after it proves right. It proves me right. So I know that most of the time I'm right. That feeling in your gut. So from the beginning, I don't know why, in my mind, I'm going to be very blunt and honest about what I think. I am 100% sure I'm going to tell you, I really think everything is a stage. That guy is staged. The blood drops are staged, in my point of view. And that's something that John said too, that probably they use a syringe or something. I don't know. And it's so wild to me that this is happening to an 84-year-old lady. That's why I'm so into this. It's not even because her daughter's famous or anything like that. It's more because of her age. And for you to go through all your life and to have to go through this. So my question is, I know that you cannot say anything, like nobody knows what they're looking into. But the question I have is, we have a case who's a high profile case, right? So they're keeping everything to the vest, like you said, nothing's being told to us unless, we watch you guys talk. That's how we find out. I don't watch news about it because who knows what they're talking about. I only trust what comes from here. So my question is, based on your experience, right? Because you've been doing this for a long time, is it normal for a high profile case to not tell the public the steps that they're taking, where they are in investigation, to keep this so completely closed off? Is it normal for them to do that?
Bob, how do you want to answer that?
Well, I said this on Josh's show the other night. If I were a detective on this case, if I were the case agent or the lead detective on this case, you wouldn't even know 1/3 of what you already know. I wouldn't want you knowing anything. In fact, you probably wouldn't even know 1/3. So I'm not putting out information. I'm on the record saying Nano's put out too much from jump. And I just, I'm not going to engage with the media as the lead detective, and I don't want my investigative information out to the public because.
But Bob, what would you have your public information officer say? Like,
you give them a nugget. You give them a nugget occasionally, just something little. Like I said earlier, just a little something so that they don't make up a story. They don't craft the narrative. You do. So you give them a little something, but you're not getting a lot.
And that's why people get really frustrated when law enforcement says, hey, this is an ongoing investigation. We can't really go into that, or I'm not going to go into that. But there are also some cases that are high profile. And Chris, I remember, I forget the young lady in Texas that remember the donut shop where the guy and the sheriff had put out just enough information because they needed some help. And, when he did that, they ended up tracking a suspect rather quickly. Unfortunately, the young lady was, deceased. But I think there's a little bit of you kind of have to walk a tightrope. But in investigations, like Bob says, like a lot of if you look at the Celeste Rivas case in Los Angeles, they gave you nothing for 8 months, and then all of a sudden you have an arrest. You have 40 terabytes of data, of information, of evidence. They said nothing, and people were furious. The public was furious. What are they doing? Then the police chief comes out and says, "I work for the victims. I don't work for the public." And they seem to have him nailed to the wall.
Yeah, Nadia, great comment, and thank you so much for your support. Greg's going to be.
Can I ask a last question, please?
Okay, I've got yes, but at the same time,
I just want to know if you, with your experience, do you think that this case is going to be solved?
Yes.
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 Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for calling.
I appreciate you guys so much.
Okay. Keep smiling. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
You bet. Okay, Angie, you're going to be up. And then we've got David and Kim right behind you. So, Angie, you're up.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
We can. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Am I too loud?
No, ma'am. You're fine.
Okay. I watch you guys all the time. I watch Brian Enton. I watch Monk's Intrigue, and I've followed this case from the very beginning. And I was just wondering, Ella, hush. I'm sorry. I have a 92-pound German Shepherd whining here, but is it a liability for you guys and for Brian Enton, Monk's, obviously I think Monk's does it more than anyone else, to speculate about the family?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be, you have to pay attention to what you say. I mean, that's the responsibility of the true crime community.
So is it okay if I say what I think and not get you guys in trouble? Well,
I mean, at this point, the family, right? Everybody's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And right now the sheriff has said everybody's clear. So with those guidelines, I think you have to measure your comment.
Okay. Well, my thoughts is I know that the sheriff said the family was cleared, and personally, and I think that y'all agree, it's really hard to say that anybody's cleared if you don't have, if you don't have your person. But, and I'm not talking about like, what they would insinuate or anything. I'm just talking about specifically people that are speculating, and you're saying we're only speculating because if you're if we can speculate about the porch guy and all the different people, it's like, can we just speculate? Because my thoughts are, you have to go back to who would benefit from her not being here. And to me, the only people that would benefit would be the family, A&T specifically. just because there would be no more caretaking. There would be money that I think has been shown that's needed. I do believe that DC is involved. You know, he texted them. That's why he texted them. I think the porch guy was just a hired help. And I do think it was a staged kidnapping, but I don't think the blood was staged. I think the blood was real. And I just think that they took her that's the staging part, to make it look like a kidnapping, because they took her to get rid of her. And obviously then it's like, well, what did they do with her? But I just wonder, because I think of all those events, it's the only thing that makes sense to me, which of course, I'm sure there's a million cases that absolutely do not make any sense when they're, solved. But in this case, so far, that's what makes sense to me. And I just wondered, how come, on all the shows I watch, like, nobody says those things in that order. Like, we think it's the family, they benefit, no more caretaking, DC's involved, porch guy was just hired, and the whole kidnapping was staged, just like the ransom notes, to make it look like a kidnapping to buy time.
Yeah. No, and I think your statement is perfectly fine, because just remember always that the First Amendment was created by our founding fathers to create public discourse,
right,
and public conversation, because our country is based on free speech and free thought and all this other stuff. We just want to make sure that we're not accusing people of something they have not been accused or charged with by the legal system. And I think that's where people get in trouble, where, even YouTubers, there was just a $17 million lawsuit settlement, by Ryan, but with Brian Upchurch, for going out on and saying, no, there's no question this person did it. There was one recently, even in the Koberger case, as you remember, Angie, where the gal said, no, this professor did it. I know she did it. Well, how do you know that? Okay.
Yeah, but that wasn't speculation either. That was direct. It's kind of a fine line, Chris, where you're allowed to think something, and you can
you're allowed to have a theory, and you're allowed to have a thought.
You're allowed to. Yeah, you're allowed
to. I just wondered how come
believe them. You're allowed to think that.
Like, how come nobody? I mean, obviously, I read the comments and all of these too, and so many other people are thinking it, and so I figured if we're thinking it, then you guys are thinking it. Brian Ensign's thinking it. Monks, I know, has kind of more or less said it, and I mean, he hasn't said he think they did it. He's just laying out what makes sense, and that's all I'm doing. Is that's just what makes sense.
And
I pray they didn't do it. I really do pray they did not do it.
And you know what? We're having John Ramsey on Sunday night.
Oh, I listened to him today with Brian. Yeah,
talk about some of his experience with just that point that you're making, Angie. And what a great caller! Thank you so much for your opinion, and thank you for weighing in here. I'm going to jump to the next caller. If that's okay
thank
with
you
you.
So much. Enjoy it so much.
Yes, ma'am. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, David, you're up. Welcome to the program, David.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. And Kim, you're next. So put your seatbelt on.
Right. Well, I'll get right to it. First off, thank you for taking my call. I much appreciate each of you. I watched Josh on his channel as well. All of you are just wonderful. So I'll get right to it so you can move on to the next. Two-part question, really. Going back to Luke Daly, the gentleman that had been detained by the FBI early on and questioned. He had given an interview, and in that interview, I can't remember exactly, he was asked a question referencing, did they tell you why they detained you or whatnot? And he went on to say, no, they didn't. And then he had said something that was very alarming to me almost. And I was wondering as the detectives what you thought was, he said, well, my phone was not there, so they have no proof I was there, or something along those lines. And I almost felt like it was, why was he bringing up his phone? You know what I mean? I was just kind of wondering what your thoughts along that line was. And also the second one, and then I'll shut up and let you talk, is very early on, after Nanos had turned over the scene, someone in the media had taken a video of what appeared to be kind of like weird tire tracks in the driveway. And they weren't like horror or anything like that. And then the monk intrigue this past week or so
I just
had
lost my audio. Can you guys hear me?
Mhm.
I
I can hear you, Chris, and I
Some
can
reason
hear the
can't hear
caller.
you. Hang on.
I can hear the caller too.
Can you hear me, Chris?
We can hear you, so go ahead and finish your question.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the question is, early on, I'd seen the reporters talking about that
Hang on for a
weird
sec.
fire
I gotta
in
come back.
the driveway, and the monk intrigue over the past week had created this thought of a dolly or something. I don't know if any of you saw that, and I was just wondering. There's no car. Do you think that there is a car and the detectives just aren't telling us? Or could they have possibly taken her somehow by a dolly to a neighboring house and held onto her for a night and no car would have stood out? So those are kind of my questions. I wasn't sure what your thoughts were on that.
Well, with respect to the first part of your question, or your first question, I guess there are actually three questions there. So with respect to Mr. Daly, I think the reason the detectives did not tell them why they had stopped him, if that's accurate and true, and I'm not saying he's fabricating, it's just that people interpret things differently. Most likely it is because to reveal that information to him would be revealing evidence in the case, and it's probably evidence that they want to safeguard. Okay, so they're not going to tell him.
Right.
And it's an ongoing investigation, and as much as I'm sure he would like to know why he was being stopped, they're not obligated to do that, at least at this point. Okay, so hopefully that answers the first question. With respect to the second question, I do recall seeing some video of tire tracks in the driveway, and I think these are the ones you're referencing, the ones that show tires turn to the left if you're pulling in toward the garage, and there are two sets of tracks. Clearly, the vehicle was making a turn to the left. I really don't know much about that. I did not see the Monk's Intrigue show when he addressed that, so I don't have much more to add. Josh, I don't know if you can add to that
Yeah,
or not.
I'm familiar with the dolly theory. I don't know. I mean, I just personally, I know that it's a theory that's kind of being floated around. I don't really buy into it much. The fact that they would put an old lady on a dolly and cart her off like that. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying it couldn't happen. I mean, I just, I don't think that's what happened personally. I guess it's speculative and, sort of fodder for discussion.
Well, the one question I had that wasn't really talked about was, what are your thoughts from a detective standpoint about Luke Daly introducing the whole "my cell phone wasn't there, they don't have me on the scene" or something along those lines? Is that something that it almost seemed like it was forced? Like, I planned to not have my cell phone there
It's
for
something-
lack of digital evidence. That makes sense.
It's definitely a red flag, David, that you would want to keep a tag on it.
Right.
And, we would write it up on the board, for lack of a better term. So I'm sorry I missed a lot of the other comments, but I know you were in good hands with Bob and Josh.
I appreciate it, Chris.
No, hey, brother. Thank you so much for calling in. And I had to go to space for a little while there and meet Elon Musk while I was upstairs. So anyway, I'm back. But thank you so much for calling in, bud.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. All right. So I got Kim. You're up. Have a good evening. Miss Kim, how are you? So I got Kim. You're up. Have a good evening. You have to turn off your.
Hi.
Hi. You're gonna have to.
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, but you have to turn off your YouTube thing. We're getting feedback. There you go. How are you? Turn off your YouTube thing. We're getting feedback. There you go. How are you?
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm still here. I know you're still hearing feedback, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you just got to mute your YouTube.
You're still hearing feedback, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you just got to mute your YouTube.
Okay, while you do that, I'll come back to you. Deborah, you're on. How are you?
Can you hear me, Chris?
Yes, ma'am. How are you? How you doing?
I'm pretty good. I watch you guys every night that you're on, and I just love you guys.
Thank
I
you.
think you're wonderful. I have a theory is all. My theory is that, well, can I say the person's name in my
Just
theory?
use their initials. Just use their initials.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say I really believe it's TC.
Uh-huh.
And the reason I believe this because no one else has a reason to do this. I do not believe it's a kidnapping. I believe it was set up to look like a kidnapping. And I think that the reason why this case is stalled, or maybe not stalled, but things are going on in the background is because TC has his DNA all over that house and property. So what are they going to do? They can't. You see what I'm saying? It's family's DNA.
Yeah,
So,
and the sheriff made he kind of implied that. Remember, he said, there's DNA in there that you would expect to be in there.
Right.
In one of the press conferences. So, and that's one of the things we've talked about behind the scenes. It's like, okay, well, and that's why I'm a proponent of just take the DNA, unless it's a total stranger DNA. If they come back and they say, look, this other stuff that we sent to the lab comes back to a total stranger, and they're not going to tell us that, right? Because they're going to chase that down through the family, genealogy tree. But if it's just something else, like it's family and everybody's supposed to be there, it's a nothing burger. You're not going to convict anybody, and the U.S. attorney or DA is not going to take something like that to trial. It just probably won't happen. So I'm in agreement with your concept and your theory there, but at the same time, I'm a proponent for they should have locked in everybody within the first 48 hours and got everybody downtown. And we had a whole show about this, separated everybody, talked to them one-on-one individually. And then if you had any gaps, and we did a whole thing, I don't know if you saw the show where we came up with like 50 gaps.
Yeah.
And that's just us thinking out loud, right? And folks like you, Deborah, where you're going, okay, I'm thinking like those guys. And it will be the public that will solve this case, and or a vehicle coming into that arena multiple times around the time frame. Again, I think those camera systems out there. I love your theory. Thank you so much for calling, and thank you for supporting our program. Karen and I and the rest of the team are grateful very, very much.
Okay, I just have one more thing I wanted to say.
Sure.
About the tracks. The tracks in the gravel. Everybody says, "Oh, it's a dolly." Do you think maybe it could be a walker?
Great question. Great point. We don't know.
It could be.
Yeah.
And we don't know when tracks were put there anyway. I mean, there could have been tracks there
Right.
forever.
Yeah, I don't think those tracks are from a dolly. I didn't weigh in on this on the previous caller, but
No, I don't
I think
agree with
that's
that either.
yeah, I think that's too far fetched. If you stop and think about it, you're wheeling a body away in a cart, and what if you get caught? With a vehicle, you pull the vehicle up as close as you can, you put her in the vehicle, and you're gone. That's a lot less risky than a cart, wheeling a cart through the neighborhood. That is way too risky and a little too far fetched for me.
Although on The Sopranos, Christopher and Polly rolled a guy up into the carpet.
Yeah.
Well, there's that.
Oh,
Yeah.
we don't, Josh, right there. Deborah, thank you so much. Kim, you're the next caller. Okay, did you get it fixed? Kim, you're up. I think she's she muted now. All right, Kim, we're going to come back to you. You'll figure it out. Don't worry, young lady. We'll come back to you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're here.
Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes. Okay, go ahead. What's your question?
Can you hear me?
She still hasn't turned it down.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. What's your question?
All you have to do is all you got to do is mute your YouTube page. All you have to do is mute your YouTube page.
Okay.
Got
Did
it?
that work?
All right. All right, you're in. What's your question?
Okay, never mind, because I can't hear you guys now on my phone, so I'll just skip it. Oh, well, now I can. I don't know.
Well,
I'm
just
sorry.
Ask the question and we'll answer it when you're off. Go ahead. What's your question? She'll get it. All right. She's going to figure it out. Marcus Miller, you're up. Marcus, how are you?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Hello, Chris, Bob, and that other gentleman with the nice beard. This is Marcus from the great state of Illinois, more specifically Hyde Park, Chicago, the home of the University of Chicago and the world's first nuclear chain reaction. Excuse my voice, I'm not feeling great. As of next month, will be the home of the Obama Presidential Center, for those that care. Now to my question, what are the chances he sailed out into the ocean and dropped his wife's body and she's at the bottom of the sea? Thank you.
Are you talking about the Lynette Hooker case?
The hookers, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, it's completely possible. I know that the timeline is off with that. You know, he was saying that the accident happened a lot earlier than it did, and you know, they're really nailing him on a timeline right now. But you know, they're also searching on land now. From what I understand, that the water in the Bahamas where they're at is very shallow, and that it's been over 10 years since somebody's gone overboard that they didn't find someone's body. So it sounds like whoever's responsible for this quote unquote, if accident is what he's saying, has gone through a great deal of trouble to hide her body.
There you go. That is a possibility there, Marcus.
Well, I think he's guilty as sin, and I hope you guys have a great night.
All right.
Thank you. I love Chicago, and thank you for calling in, sir. All right, let's go back to Kim, see if she got it figured out. Kim, did you get it figured out? Miss Kim? All right, she's still working on it. So we're going to go to Kimmery.
Good evening. How are you?
How are you?
I am super.
Awesome.
I absolutely love your podcast and everything from it.
Thank you.
So glad I get to talk to you.
Yeah.
The Murdoch case, if you don't know.
Hit me.
So, how do we know that Becky Hill wasn't paid by the Murdochs a long time ago to screw this whole thing up? I mean, how could she be that dumb?
It's a great question. We don't.
Talk to Mark Tinsley. He said he messes with juries.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think Mark Tinsley's involved. Is that what you're saying?
no.
Mark Tinsley's the Mark Tinsley has said that he has messed with juries
Well,
before.
Alec has.
Oh, Alec. Yeah,
was
no,
worried that he would eat the jury.
with his character, right? Could we put it past him, right?
Right, exactly.
No. Yeah,
And
no,
the whole thing perplexes me that she could be so brazen with such confidence.
yeah. No, I can't disagree with you on that one, Kim, at all.
Hey, Chris, he's, excuse my language, he's got some balls suing that lady for all the stuff that he has done, and he's, if anything, he should be buying her flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kim, thank you so much for your comment. And I hope that helped I hope that answer was sufficient for you. We're going to keep moving here to Oceanside Lady. And thank you for supporting the show. Have a good evening, young lady. Oceanside. Hi.
Hello,
How are
you
you?
three. First, I just want to say, do you guys know that former officer Jim Wood passed away on the 16th?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
We were partners for many years.
icon.
Yes, Jim was a good man, a good cop, and an outstanding detective. I worked with Jim a lot over the years, and I can't say enough good things about him. And rest in peace, Jim.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something? We had someone called in. We have a vacant home in our little community, and someone called in at 7 a.m. on Mother's Day and said they saw a couple of youngsters, young 20-ish type, coming out of it with bundles like blankets or something. And they called the police. And the president of the HOA asked me to go down and see if I could find out anything, because I'm the HOA neighborhood watch. And they come out of the backyard with their guns drawn. And it was not something I'm used to seeing, because it was a vacant house. It wasn't a critical thing. But anyway, there were 4 of them. But what I wanted to ask on Nancy Guthrie, this is what's really bothering me. How can they say they've searched everywhere if they haven't drained the septic?
Well, we don't know if they didn't send cameras or anything like that down there. But to your point, you're right. We don't know that for sure that they've done that. Hopefully, hopefully they have.
Because
yeah,
it's
just
the closest, most accessible place.
yeah, it's scary. It is if they haven't done that. And yeah, well, thank you, by the way, for being the eyes of the neighborhood.
The local shows.
You're awesome. So, do me a favor, go for a walk on the pier for me, would you? And get that breeze and send it our way onto the show. We love you and we appreciate your support here. So
Enjoy your evening.
Okay, have a good
Thanks,
night.
you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for the info. Okay, Tommy. Mr. Tommy, you are up. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm doing well. Thank you.
Well, I had to put my speaking valve in because I have a trach, so I just want to make sure you can hear me.
Yes, we got you.
Okay. My question is this. Now, this thing has been so crazy. There's so many holes, like you said, red flags lining up. What was discussed at the house? Did she go home? She had to go home if the phone was connected to her at that time. My question is, why did they take so long to call 911? Were they there to clean up things? I mean, it's just so, if that was my mother, I would have been on the phone as I'm going to my mother's house saying, listen, my mother's 84 years old. She didn't show up for church. She's not answering her phone. I'm heading to her house now. Can I have an officer there by the time, call them then? Why do you wait an hour-ish? What, you're searching around? Why? It's a red flag. It's just, You're the last one to see her. And then they said he watched her go in. And some people are saying he walked her. And what is it? You know, they don't tell you anything. I know, like you said, you don't give out too much information because you don't want, but even Nanos, he flunked closing down that thing. You had pizza delivery guy driving up there. You had the UPS guy driving up there. You had the woman leaving the cart on the door. You had the pool man show up. All these people are just walking on in, just, oh yeah, I'm here to clean the pool, but she's not here. Why you cleaning the pool? They should have been stopped before and said you can't come through here. And I know it's a TV show, but the one thing I liked about Columbo is he always went back and bugged the person.
One more
He
question.
always went back and say, "Oh, I got another question. What did you do that day?" I mean, I
You're
know it's a
awesome,
TV
Bob.
show.
Matlock
Don't get me
did
wrong.
that
I
too.
know it's a TV show. Even like the Monk, the TV show, The Monk. I mean, he was more like, I know it's a TV show, but they never gave up on what they felt. Like they know this person's guilty, and like Columbo, he would go back and say, "Oh yeah, by the way, you said you were doing what, and you got there at what time?" And that's, I mean, like I said, it's apples and oranges to that, but I feel that I hope she's found.
I do too. And a great
I
comment.
mean,
Thank you.
I don't think she's alive. If she
Thank
isn't,
you.
it's a miracle.
Yeah, great comment. Thank you so much for calling in. Lots of red flags that you pointed out there. Let's go to Carrie. Carrie, thank you so much. You're in the program. What's your question? Carrie? I think you're muted. There you go. How are you?
Hey, how are you guys?
Doing well.
Hi,
Thank
Carrie.
you.
I
What's your
just want to
question?
tell you that I love all three of you. And Chris, I love your panels
Thank you.
and I watch you religiously. I guess my question is, if Nanos was somehow thrown off the case, how do you think they would go about solving the case or moving forward with the case? I guess I'm asking you and Bob what you guys would do if they had to start over at ground zero.
Okay, I'll let Bob answer that. And thank you for your question. And we'll answer that. And I'll let you
Okay.
run. Appreciate
Thank
you. Okay.
Well,
Bob?
Carrie, I'm not sure that they would need to start over because remember the FBI has been involved. I realize they came in a little late or 4 days into the investigation, but I do believe that the information that the detectives and the FBI agents have put together is solid, and so I don't really think you would have to start over. To appoint a new person in charge of the investigation would probably be a good thing. But at this point, I don't think it's going to make a lot of difference. Quite frankly, I don't think Nanos is really involved as much as we think or the media thinks he is. Now, I know everyone's running around saying he's in charge of the investigation, and technically that is true. He's the sheriff. It's his case, his department's case, so therefore he's in charge. But I don't really think that he is having that much to do on a day-to-day basis with the case. The detectives and the agents are going to continue working hard on this, and so I wouldn't really do a whole lot different.
Yeah. Great comment. Great question. Thank you so much, Carrie. Let's go to Danyaka. I think the best way to, I'm learning here because this is like the third time I've ever done a call-in show, is I think the easiest way is when you ask your question, if it's okay with you guys, we'll go ahead and answer that question and we'll go to the next person lining up here because we've got like 6 or 7 folks already behind you. So if that's okay with you, we give everybody one question. We'll answer it, and then we'll move to the next one. So Daniel, you're up.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yes. How are you?
Pretty good. Calling from the Pacific Northwest.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Just found your show when Nancy Guthrie happened, and I really like it, and I will continue to watch.
Thank you.
I love the panelists you have on there. And my main question, the lady brought up the walker, which is awesome because there is a possibility somebody could have put her on her walker and pushed her out if it was one with a seat. But my main question is, why didn't people put more investment into checking into Mexico or flight logs like Cameron flew a plane? So I'm just curious why they didn't do more international searching.
Okay. Thank you for your question. I think we're going to be surprised to find out they actually probably did all of that. At some point, that they would probably be neglectful to have not done that. So I believe we're probably going to hear at some point, what the totality of that's going to be. But quite frankly, I think it will probably be at the trial if somebody is taken into custody, because that's going to be an exact type of question that the defense will ask. So I love the way you think out of the box, and that's why your nickname is Dreamer. So we think that's just fantastic. All right, thank you for your call, Agent 069. I love it. You're on the program. What's up, my friend?
Wow, great to be with you guys.
Good to
Chris,
have you here.
you mentioned a little while ago, and maybe about a week ago, are you still 1,000% on the timeline?
Yes.
I too. I mean, Sheriff Nano said that, and that to me is very, very curious. If the family was there at that time, that's way too much time to wait. Not to mention, they weren't the ones that found the blood on the doorstep. Nobody found that until Brian Enton pointed it out, which is very curious.
That's not true.
No,
No.
Good. Thank you for. Yeah. Wow. That's great.
The initial responding deputies, the uniformed deputies, found the blood. Brian Enton was apparently the first of the news media persons camped out in front with the camera that saw the blood. So I don't know how that rumor got started, but that is not true. It's the deputies.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Sure.
I mean, just in my own, just following this from the beginning, that whole point of view, that there's just way too much time, and that delayed response by the family to report that, and the mixed messages coming from Sheriff Nanos, that's what really bugs me the most about this whole case. And I wish there was a little bit more clarity to that. I hate the lack of, all the speculation is just the lack of information.
Yeah, we agree. And I can tell you that my sources are always solid. I've spent a couple of weekends in the business here.
Yeah.
And just like when everybody, laughed at me when I said Koberger was getting tortured from other prisoners in the prison. Okay, people are like, yeah, sure, right. Well, what's that guy know? And next thing you know it, all of a sudden I was right.
Yeah,
to elaborate on your comment there about Koberger, Patriot Pride was one of the sources where I heard about the CSI information about Tommy.
Sure.
And is that accurate?
I can't answer that one. I haven't inquired in it deeper into that, to be honest with you.
I'd love to know that answer, because that to me is 1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah, but let's see where the course is going on this thing, right? Dog leg to the right. We'll see what happens, and we'll pick the 5-iron up if we have to.
I appreciate you guys letting me on the show tonight. Thank you.
Hey, Agent 69, I absolutely love your title. Thank you for calling in. Okay, next question here from LD. LD,
Hi.
thank you so much. How are you?
Good, great. Thank you so much. I'm calling from Southeast Texas.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I have a question because I don't hear it mentioned very much, but I'm very curious about the dog and the death of the dog and the timing. And if you've heard anything about any videos before, this guy showed up in the middle of January and then like the 24th and then suddenly, February 1st. But wouldn't there be any video of him prior to that? Or somebody knew the dog had passed. She was suddenly alone. I mean, really alone. And it just seems like that's such inside information that a dog that wasn't too small would be barking a lot. Even if she was deaf, the dog would alert her. And then suddenly she's completely alone. I just wondered if y'all had any thoughts on talking to the vet or talking to someone. Was the dog's death natural? It just seems very suspicious. And was this guy not showing up prior to that in December, or did he just suddenly start in January showing up on the front porch?
The dog had cancer. It was died of old age and cancer.
Okay, and we're 100% on that because it just seems odd this guy started showing up after the dog died.
Yeah, it was an
after
old
she'd
dog.
had it all that time.
Yeah, it was an old dog. It died in December.
What part of Texas are you from?
In the Woodlands here, north of Houston.
Oh, love it, love it. Did you see Ella just won Best Country Music?
Yes. This place is really blown up with music around here, but we have a lot. It's fantastic.
Have you heard that song?
Yes, I love your music too. I listen to your music on St. Patrick's Day.
It stays in my head. So thank you so much. And should I say hook 'em horns?
Why not? Go for it. I'm a Cowboy fan, so.
Yes, you are. Thank you so much, young lady. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
your
you.
question, your
Thank you
comment.
so much.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Adeline. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Is it Adeline or Adeline?
Adeline.
Adeline, thank you so much for calling in. What's your question?
And I'm sorry if I have feedback here. I've never done this, but it's just more a comment about Nancy Guthrie and the blood on the porch. I was just thinking, maybe that happened because when they dragged her out or made her walk out, she wanted to scream or try and run away. And that was maybe why they did something to shut her up and have some blood there. But that's all I have.
Thank you. Yeah, you could be right.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys think? Yeah.
Yeah, we of course we don't know. There's a number of theories out there, and that theory that you just laid forth, Adeline, is just as solid in my opinion as any of the others.
Great. Well, thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Have a good night. And my buddy over at MAB Investigations is back with us tonight. What's happening? What's up?
What's going on, Chris, Bob, Josh? How you doing? How you guys doing?
We're doing well. How's your channel doing?
The channel's doing good.
Okay.
I almost got 4,000 subscribers now. So it's
Awesome.
going nice.
Everybody go to MAB Investigates. He's got some good stuff. What's your question?
I just started a nonprofit for that purpose. So everything I'm going to be doing will be all going into a nonprofit. Question.
Yeah.
What kind of damage, if any, to the prosecution if they have a suspect would them, they gave the scene back to the family and then they shut it down again after the FBI got involved? They never took the tile. They never took the carpet. They didn't use an MVAC. It didn't look like to me. Maybe they did. But is there damage that could happen from that?
Yes. I see Bob even shaking his head. As you know, the moment you pull that tape after you got a search warrant is the moment you just gave up that search warrant. And so then you would have to go back to the court one more time and say, Your Honor, we have additional probable cause to believe that we missed some stuff. We have to go back in there and we would like what they call a follow-up.
Right.
And basically it's an extension to the warrant, because typically a
Yeah.
warrant for like 10 days. Homicides are a little bit more lenient, but the moment you turn in that log, meaning everybody's gone, and you hand it back to the family, it's over. Bob, what do you think?
Yeah, that's spot on. Let's go back to the O.J. Simpson case and the collection of evidence at the scene. There were a couple of LAPD forensic evidence team members at the scene, along with even some of the robbery homicide detectives that the defense highlighted in news footage of them handling evidence without gloves, questioning some of the collection methods, et cetera, et cetera. And Johnny Cochran and his team were able to put that forth in front of the jury and create reasonable doubt just from that point going forward. And then you have, and I know Mark Furman just passed away.
Yeah.
And,
really? I was just going to mention him. He was the racist guy.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean,
he
allegedly.
Yeah, well, he was convicted. He pled guilty, I should say. He was not convicted. He pled guilty to lying about making racist comments. So you can take that for whatever it's worth. Anyway, so they put Furman on trial, as you know, and they also put the evidence on trial, and successfully, as we all know. So will that happen in the Guthrie case? I don't know that it will, but I can't say that it won't either, because they have really laid it out. Yeah, they've kind of laid it out to go in that direction, to Chris's point earlier. So we'll see what happens, of course.
Yeah, thanks for your
right.
comment very much, brother. Appreciate you. We're going to go to Angel next. And also one other thing about, search warrants, you can shut a scene down in terms of come back the next day, et cetera, but you need to have a 24-hour scene security. The moment you give up that scene, i.e., you tell that patrol guy or whoever, hey, we're done, 10-8, cleared, get out of here. And then you call the family and say, okay, we're finished. It's your house. It's over at that point. You cannot go back as a redo and say, oops, we forgot this, we forgot that. Oh my goodness, we learned about this, we learned about that. No. Now, if you had a patrol officer sitting there for the whole 10 days that warrant is good, yes, you can go back, as long as nobody has gone into that scene and contaminated that scene. But the moment you say, here's your keys back, and then the family, starts pulling up and pulling into that house, it's over. A defense attorney will have a field day with any evidence that potentially could come after that, because that would be what they call fruit of the poisonous tree. And then there will be pre-trial hearings where, just look at what's happening here recently in the Tyler Robinson case. They're trying to get the district attorneys kicked off because one of the guy's daughters attended, the event. And look what's happening right now with Luigi. Okay. They're trying, they just suppressed a gun. Okay. So that's the danger of making one mistake. Remember, all the defense has to convince is one person, a la one juror in the Alex Murdaugh case. The prosecution has to convince 15, the 3 alternates and the 12 jurors.
Well, Chris, also, and then to top it all off, at another press conference held by Nanos, he goes, yeah, well, maybe we did release the scene too early. Whatever defense attorney gets this case, they're going to play that on a loop. I mean, what a crazy thing to even admit I mean, everybody already knows that it was a mistake, but then for him to just come out and say, yeah, maybe we did, really, and you're just like, my God, I mean, this is going to be a nightmare to prosecute if it's not a slam dunk. It's going to be so difficult to prosecute this case.
Yeah, and then there's the matter of the front doormat and the doorknob on the security door not being taken, and just so many things. They're going to have a field day with that in court, I'm afraid.
And that's what John Lamb said. John Lamb said, I would have taken the door. I would have taken the doorknobs. He basically said, I would have taken all the doors, taken the mat. And that's really, what should have happened. But I just can't believe that I can't believe that he even stood up there and said, yeah, well, maybe we did release it. See, there was no rush. I don't understand why he did it. There was no real big rush to turn the house back over, from what I understood. I mean,
yeah, that's a rookie mistake. And, it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, 50 years in the business. I mean,
yeah. The Nest camera frame too. I know it's been collected now, but they didn't collect it for quite a while. And if there is any evidence that they try and use at trial on that camera frame itself, that's going to be a tough one. So we'll see.
Let's go to Angel. Angel, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing well. What's your
Okay,
question?
my question is, if you guys noticed the when he bent down to pick up those flowers, his bite light went when he bit his bite light a couple times like a signal, and then looked up or looked the other way like there was somebody that he was signaling to. And then also on the Derek and Tommaso, they played at the same place, and that's where Kayla Day used to work there, and she goes out with Luke Daly. So that's how they all know each other. They're all linked together, So, my question is, if it is the family like Tommaso or whatever, how are they going to be able to get this case solved? Knowing, because he works in DNA, he knows about DNA. That's his thing, that he teaches DNA at the school. So how are they going to be able to get this case done if he was smart enough to do all that stuff, and then only DNA's there at the house is his? I don't know. It's just crazy. I don't get it.
Angel, I think we just take the DNA off the table.
Yeah, exactly.
And you just go back to, it goes back to basics and fundamentals.
Right.
And those basics and fundamentals. I did a case, her name was Rebecca Jensen. And she was a mother of three, left a pot of potatoes on the stove and went to the grocery store and disappeared. And she ended up being kidnapped and ultimately murdered and buried. And I found her after about 2 months of work, and I arrested 3 people. And there was a car that one of the subjects was driving. His name was David Mick. I can say that because he was convicted, or excuse me, the other people were convicted, and I exonerated him. Long story short is, this is a situation where that whole case came down to, and by the way, we didn't have DNA. That whole case, when I even started in the Bureau in 1990, what was DNA, right? That stuff was coming in. We had ABO blood typing, right? Remember, Bob? I mean, if you had, B positive, man, you were cooking. And if you had a fingerprint, oh my gosh, are you serious? You got a fingerprint? Okay. And so remember that, as everybody, one of the biggest red flags that I felt listening to the sheriff say is, this case is going to revolve around technology. You know what that told me? That told me they're not willing to kick the dirt. This case will revolve around statements.
Right. Because the sheriff, he's just waiting for DNA. He's just lazy. He doesn't want to put no work into it. That's why him and that lady, that one lady got into it, and because he had to do extra work. Why are you giving me more leads? I don't want no more leads, He just wants it to be over, I don't get it,
Well, and that, to your point, Angel, that's why the first 48 is so important, and what we keep pounding on that body camera. The moment the very first deputy arrived on scene, you want to study that more than you study any other piece of evidence, because again, it goes back to, okay, let me get this right. You were the last person to see her alive. You dropped her off. Yes. At what time? And then you want to listen to the answer, and then you want to study that answer over and over and over again. Because if that DNA comes back and it belongs to a family member, what do you have then?
Nothing.
Well, you have a statement.
Right. But the other thing is that was the DNA, that's going to come back it's going to come back to nobody, probably, because it's all the family in there, you know what I mean? And that's who was probably in the inside. And if she came home that night, I believe she would have took her medicine. She would have took that medicine. If she came home and she was able to take her medicine, she would have took it, because she's supposedly a woman of routine. So if that medicine was left there, then that's a whole new other thing, because I believe wholeheartedly she would have took her medicine, at least for that night.
Great comment. We got like 5 people behind you.
Okay. Thank you, dear. Bye.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good one. You guys had any comment on, what I was saying there?
No, I think you're right. We have to remember that this is a no-body homicide, and in these kind of cases, you really have to methodically build your case very, very carefully. And where do you get most of your evidence in a murder? You get it from the body or the scene where the body was located, and we just don't have that here. Not to that
Look
extent.
at Maya Meliate right now in San Diego. It's coming down to fragrances, right? Hemlock. And they have every click on him searching for what does hemlock do to the body? And then they have him on all of these, Larry Meliate, he's on trial right now. So I don't want to talk too much about it, because they're right in the middle of it. This is day 2. But, I'm in very close contact with Richard and Mary Chris. And by the way, when it's all over, we'll have them back up on the scene here. But all of that is a no body case, and they took them to trial, and they're putting it together. So,
and when do they think the murder occurred?
The night he came back the next morning.
I mean, I'm sorry. How long ago, Chris? I'm not familiar with the case. So.
Oh yeah, it was 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make. It just takes a long time to put a case like that together, right?
Good point. Yeah. Adam B. and Josh, jump in here. Adam, you're in the show. What's your question?
Hey, thanks, Chris.
You're welcome.
Question for you and Bob, and Josh can weigh in as well. Like, when you guys have good instincts, you have all this history as police, officers. What do you think the break in this case is going to come from? I'm not saying who did it, or I'm not asking you for anything like that, but just where do you think the break's going to come from? What angle?
Okay, great question, Bob. You
jump on that. Well, what I think is, and I've kind of indicated this in some of my previous comments, I think they're building a case. And what I mean by that is they're putting together all sorts of things. Video evidence, cell phone tower evidence, potentially, circumstantial evidence, who was where, when, so forth. Statements made by a myriad of people. And I think that's how this case is going to be solved. I don't think, like Chris indicated, I'm with Chris on this. I'm not so sure that DNA is going to be much help in this case, and that's not to insinuate anything on the family, but we're putting a lot of stock into evidence on this case, and I think this is another one that's going to have to be built methodically, and it's just going to take a while.
Josh, what do you think?
I think probably some sort of tip would probably be the, I don't know, best way for this case to get solved. I mean, obviously, somebody knows. You know, there's got to be more than one person that has an idea. You know, a lot of the times when crimes like this happen, there's a spouse or, you know, a girlfriend or something goes, well, they weren't here at home that night. They came home, they were acting kind of funny, you know, and there could be somebody out there just like that is still hesitant to report that. And when things like that get reported and then the police follow up on it, sometimes, you know, your person is right in front of you the whole time. But a lot of times people are scared to come forward for whatever reason. And so hopefully whoever has information that they haven't come forward with is brave enough to eventually do that. I think that there's DNA that, you know, I don't have any faith in that DNA. I just I think that if that's what they're putting their faith in, that it's going to be a major disappointment.
Yeah, appreciate your call, Adam, and I wouldn't underestimate the creativity of the Popo on this one. Always remember that there are other tools in the toolbox that nobody talks about. So, you know, just put your seatbelt on and let's just cross our fingers that you know, the right things are done in the right order. So thank you so much for your call and for your support to the channel. We're so grateful for you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, bud. Have a good one.
Thank you.
All right, Linda Lou. Linda Lou, you're up. How are you? Miss Linda Lou. Hello, Linda.
You can hear her.
She'll get to it. All right. Chris McLaughlin. Well, Linda, we'll come back to you. Chris, you're in the show. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you guys?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for calling in. What's up?
Good. Thank you. Couple quick things.
Yeah.
And I think you guys are the best to answer it. Why do you think that they kept, and I don't know if you've already talked to it, I just jumped on a few minutes. Why do you think they kept Annie's car for so long? If they didn't find any evidence in that car, what would be the reason they would keep it for what, almost 50 days? Any idea, your thought?
Yeah, well, 41 days approximately. And you're right. That is a huge anomaly that, you know, you can get to the telematics within 2 days, 3 days easily.
Right.
And so then the next
hair and everything else.
Yeah, you can process that car within a week. And typically
so do you think they found something?
We don't know. Yeah, we don't know. But I can tell you this, they kept it for almost 4 weeks and then they sent it to the shop. That was another thing that people said, oh, you know, why are you saying the time frame, et cetera? Well, I also told people where they repaired that vehicle at the Chevy dealer. Okay. And
yeah,
so
they took that thing to the bones.
Yeah,
and they couldn't put it back together.
That's exactly right, brother. They tore it apart. I love your last name too. Good Irish name. Where are you from?
There you go. I'm from Boston, outside of Boston.
I was going to hear a little Boston in you. What part?
Oh yeah, I'm outside of Boston in Newton, right
in
outside
Newton,
of Boston.
Mass.
I'm only.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
Newton,
I'm 5 minutes away. Yeah,
All
I'm
right,
half
so
Italian, half Irish. If I had the Italian name, it would be Camelli.
There you
So
go.
then
So
I'd just be a strict guinea off the boat. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, you get on the north end out there and get off at downtown to Park Street. So all
Downtown
right,
Boston. Hey, I got one more quick thing for you guys.
hit me.
And I
Hit
don't
me.
know if you've so the Google Nest, and I've
Yeah.
told this to a few other people. I'm still trying to figure out why it happened to me like it did and how I found it. So we had some porch pirates, and I did have a Nest, but I didn't have a subscription.
Okay.
So they took some important packages from us. So, I come down to it, and my buddy who's a cop here said, why don't you call Google and see if they can find anything? And whoever tells you guys that Google doesn't keep video, they're telling you stories. They went back as far as they needed to find my packages and the person that took them, and they found them, and they turned over that video to the police. And I didn't have a subscription. They record everything. It's somewhere in the site. So whoever says that they can't find it's lying, because they can. I never had a subscription. I never will. I have my own security now, but the video's there.
Mr. McLaughlin, we love you, buddy. Go Red Sox.
Yeah, right. Please. Did you have to say that? Really?
I got. No, the Sox are the best. Hey, that green wall. If you can hit it over that green wall, you are somebody, something.
I can't even get it in the outfield. And
An old Yaz guy. You know what? I used to work with, Bob and I both used to work with an old Red Sox guy, a guy named Jack Brohammer. That name ring a bell? So
a little
Jack,
bit, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
I went to the academy with Jack, and he had just gotten out of the MLB because he had an injury. Long story short, I'm running alongside this guy, and I'm like, "Who are you?" And he goes, "I'm Jack Brohammer." And we find out that he played in the majors. What, 11 years, Bob? He played with Cleveland. He played with the Red Sox. Anyway, so I got all my family's from Boston. So you're in good shape, brother.
Well, I was going to call back maybe on the next show, say something, but with that last comment about go Red Sox, this is my final call. I can't handle it. I can't take that Red Sox stuff, guys. I'm trying to find a new team right now, but
Well, the Padres are available, or the Dodgers, but
the Rockies.
Hey, all right, I'll go with the Rockies. But yeah,
All right.
thanks. You ruined my good
Underdog.
night.
Thanks for
There
calling.
you
in,
go.
bud. Thanks for calling in. Bye.
Thanks for making me smile, anyways. So it's a good night.
Keep
All
smiling.
right.
Take care, Chris.
Hear what you're going to say, Josh.
Chris, I went to it was when the Oakland A's were still in Oakland, and I went to a Red Sox A's game, and I was in the bleachers with a bunch of Red Sox fans, and the Red Sox fans travel really well, so I mean they were
best fans in the world.
They were everywhere, and it was so incredible. They were so loud and so demonstrative with the way that they yelled. I'll never forget, there's a guy sitting behind me who's probably 6'6", 350 pounds. And he stood up, screamed at the top of his lungs. He goes, "Put in Jonathan Papelbon." And I mean, it like shook the bleachers. He was yelling. So I remember just turning around. Oh, wow, these guys are intense. But yeah, they love their baseball, but they're really bad right now, Chris. So I would be very careful.
I'm just preaching here.
Okay, got it.
Preaching what's reality.
So hang on, you're gonna have to endure another Red Sox story real quick. So in 2007, the Red Sox played the Rockies in the World Series, and I worked a lot of the Rockies games. I had the good fortune of working the World Series games there at Coors Field, and I was on the third base line when the Red Sox clinched it, and then my job was to go into the Red Sox dugout right after they clinched, which is exactly what I did. And another officer and I were in there for at least 3 hours. And that was quite a sight. My son is a Red Sox fan, and I tried to get some swag for him, but the MLB people, not the Red Sox administration or staff, but it was the Major League Baseball. They guarded everything so closely. I couldn't even get it. I'm there in uniform. I tried like hell to get a ball cap or a baseball or something for my son, and I couldn't do it because they were guarding it so closely.
You
There
should
you go.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Confessions of an undersheriff.
It was a lot of fun though. I mean,
Confessions
I
of an
enjoyed it.
undersheriff. Linda Lou.
The players were great. So
Linda
anyway, go ahead.
Lou, you're up.
Linda Lou. She's hanging in there, man.
Linda?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear
how are
me?
you? Yes. What's your question?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. What's your question? Okay. You can hear me okay. Yes. Okay. I got 2 questions or comments. I'm hearing some feedback.
You got to turn off your link.
One of them is
You got to turn off your link.
one of them is which link?
Your
YouTube.
YouTube, you got to mute.
You got to mute it.
Which link?
Your YouTube, you got to mute. You got to mute it.
Okay, hold on.
That's okay. While you do that, I'm going to go to Kim. Okay, so stay there.
Give me a sec.
All right, we'll wait.
That's okay. While you do that, I'm going to go to Kim. Okay, so stay there.
Give me a sec.
All right, we'll wait.
All right. Kim. Miss Kim, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. You're on. How are you? Yes, we can hear you, Kim.
Yeah, that sound is really weird. Okay. I can't hear you through StreamYard. So I don't know what the problem is. Because I turned off YouTube on my phone. But I'll get straight to the point. I love you guys. You do a great job. I love this panel. One of the things that I struggle with the timeline, and what haunts me is if it was the family that was involved, and I'm using the nanos nomenclature of the family that we've talked about before, if it happened that way where Nancy got dropped off at 9:45, and then the next time that we see her or that we hear anything from anybody is 11 o'clock the next day is when they showed up. That seems like a very short timeline for if the family, if they were, and I'm saying, that's just, I'm not accusing anybody of doing anything. Seems like a short amount of time to be able to do all the work that would need to be done. As far as if it's an elimination kind of thing, you would have to get her out of the house, find a place to put her, and then ultimately, where would you dispose of her if that's the case? It haunts me because it feels diabolical. It really does. It feels like there's a lot more pre-planning involved here for that short window. So that's why I almost wonder if she didn't come home that night, and that would give even more time to do that plan if that's what happened. A family member doing that, I really struggle with that. I really do. And the timeline that's published seems like a short amount of time for them to kind of take care of business.
Yep, fair enough.
So I haven't eliminated them or anybody else.
Yep.
I have several other suspects that I think, in my opinion, but I don't know. I mean, we have to really think that maybe that crime scene was staged, that it truly was staged, and that she never returned home that night, unless there's some other evidence or a camera image or something in the house that shows that she was there. Just seems like a very short time frame. to do
Kim,
what they needed to do.
what a great point.
Anyway,
Thank
that was my thought. I don't know how you guys, if you've thought about that, because once they make that phone call to the police, they're going to be watching them from that point forward. It's not like they're going to go back and be able to, keep her alive somewhere and dispose of her later. So, I mean, what's done is done once they make the phone call. So my question to you, Bob and Chris, are you watching the people you might be suspecting of their movements after something like that happens? If you suspect them, are you watching their movements
Yes.
post calling the police? So,
Yes. And Nano said early on that there were cameras, and I believe he used it was plural, that there were cameras inside the residence. So the investigators, the detectives could know already. So
right.
that's a
Okay.
possibility.
Yeah, it's just haunting to me, if it's family members that seem so quick and diabolical and all the planning involved. That's why I'm having a hard time with that scenario. But
Well,
it's
again, the
possible.
sheriff has cleared them, so
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, and the
And
only
maybe he saw something. Maybe the
the
camera showed that. So,
yeah.
all right. Well, thanks, guys. That's really what I had.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you so much
Thank
for your call. Let's go back to Linda Lou. Linda Lou, you're back. Linda Lou. Paging Linda Lou. All right, we'll come back to you, Linda. Sarah Witt. Sarah, you're in.
We'll come back to you, Linda. Sarah Witt.
Finally. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. What's your question?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Good. There's a delay. I have never called before. I even try, I'm so behind on all this computer stuff.
No problem.
There's a delay. I have never called before. I even try, I'm so behind on all this.
What's your question, young lady?
My son is a computer genius, and of course we paid for him to go to college, and he moved away.
What is your question?
First of all, I just wanted to say that I'm coming to Crime Con, and I'm so excited to meet you, Chris and Karen.
Yay. We're excited to meet you.
Yay. Again, there's a really hard time listening. I don't know. I guess you guys understand what the delay is.
Yeah, just go ahead with your question.
Yeah, you just have to ask the question.
Okay. My main question is that I was thinking, because I've been playing the scenario for over. And I was thinking that maybe they had her maybe tied up or something. And when they were getting the back doors open to get her out of the house, maybe she got out of whatever she was tied up and tried to go out the front door.
It's possible.
Yeah, we don't know what, the totality of how this is going to all unfold. But those are things that will be answered at some point. Man, we're looking forward to seeing you at CrimeCon, Sarah. Make sure, you catch up with Karen and I. We're going to try to put something together for to meet folks, just to kind of hang out. We're going to pick a spot. My sweet wife has already gone out there and surveilled a couple of areas that we can meet folks. So, anyway, so hopefully we get to see you there. Thank you so much for calling in. And we're going to jump to some more people behind you here. Thank you. Have a good evening. Okay, Michelle, you're in the show. How are you? Michelle Kinney.
Hello? Can you hear
Hi.
me?
Yes, ma'am. How are you?
If you can, Chris, I can't hear you, but I can hear the other two.
Perfect.
Okay, go ahead, Michelle. What's your
Okay.
question?
It's really not a question. I guess it's more of a comment. If I were a family member, I take care of my elderly mother. I have her clicker for, the garage door to get into the house. If I would have gotten that phone call saying she didn't show up to her friends for church, I would have ran over there and hit that garage door to make sure the car was there first before I walked into the house to check to see if my mom was okay. And we haven't heard anybody say anything about how they got into the home, but that would be my first instinct, was make sure the car was there and she didn't get into a car accident or anything like that. And I was just wondering what your thoughts were on that, or if you knew any more than that.
Bob.
Well, yeah, the car, I don't know. It's so difficult to really navigate all the nuances with the garage and the car and the keypad and whether or not a clicker was used, etc. So I really don't know, and I don't want to speculate because that doesn't do any good. Over speculate. So I really don't know that much about it, and I'm not going to go out on a limb and say something that's ridiculous. So
yeah, the only thing for me,
Okay.
the only
Well,
thing
thanks
for
for your
me,
time, guys.
yeah, the only thing for me on the car, the clickers, etc. And I was the first one to raise this on the internet. The timeline, 11:50 p.m. We never had something for the morning. There's a reason for that. People can question it all day long. I'm with you 1,000%. There is a reason they have not told us. They have no other data point on that garage. That they told us at 11:48, or excuse me, 10:48, it was activated. They told us at 10:50, it closed. What they didn't tell us is the mechanism that was utilized to do that. Because you could be halfway across the world with an app and make that happen.
was it Chris? Was it 10:58 or 9:58?
Or 9:48.
Yeah, it was 9:58. Yeah.
9:48 to 9:50.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for correcting me, Bob.
But do you guys think it's odd that there was an hour passed before they called?
Well, that's the other problem that I have.
Well, so say you guys get called
I'm
out.
not saying, and by the way, for the record, I'm not saying there's anything, nefarious here. I'm just saying that if you're there, whatever that time is going to be, and right now I can tell you that I've heard it from the sheriff's mouth, say 11 a.m.-ish, but they got there a little before that and searched around. So that may put it at 10:45-ish. Okay. We don't know what ish it's going to be yet. Okay. But I have a problem with that ish, whatever that is. That is like an hour. Okay. Before the 911 call comes in at 11:56-ish. Okay. That 11:56 can be hammered through the 911 call and CAD. Okay. The other stuff, they're holding that close to the chest. I want to know why. And just like the data point, I want to know, I'm curious. My investigative brain says, and mine, by the way, mine's only a 2-pound brain. Bob's a 10-pounder. Josh is probably a 14-pounder. I'm not sure. It depends on, I know he uses the little kid ball when he goes bowling. That's only 8 pounds. So maybe there's a measurement there as well. I'm teasing my brother. He knows that. But I've had a problem with that from day one. I may be the only guy on the internet that's had a problem with it. I don't know. I've listened to all the, other really smart people, and, they're going, well, we don't know. And well, what will we do know? You heard the sheriff say it.
Yeah.
And you can't be off by an hour if you're the sheriff at the first thing in the morning, the very first press conference. You're walking into that press conference, by the way, with notes from the family, quote unquote. So this guy had a whole debrief when he walked in there, and he goes, well, 11-ish, 11, 10, around that time. Well, guess what? It's 11. Just tell the public that's the time it is, because I called my sources and they said, yeah, it's 11. Okay. My guys. And I can tell you, my guys are in the play. And so whether anybody wants to, buy into that or not, I don't care. I have nothing to hide, and I'm not going to dance around it. It's the reality.
It's a legitimate question. As you said, the sheriff said it, and it wasn't a one-off either. He said it, and so it's absolutely a legitimate question to raise in this case. It's because it's very, very relevant.
Yeah, and I can't take credit for it. He's the one that said it.
Mm-hmm.
So get mad at the sheriff. Don't get mad at me. Okay, let's go to Edwin. Edwin, you're up.
Hi there, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your call.
Me personally, I am still haven't left the house. I'm still there.
Right on. I hear your Boston accent there too, or something. New York?
Oh, yeah. Massachusetts, yes.
All right, got it. Go ahead.
Yeah,
why are you still at the house?
I'm just still there. But my question is, I was reviewing a lot of the YouTubers' videos. After all the press left and all the YouTubers left, except the local YouTubers were there out in front of Nancy's house. This pickup truck stopped by and said, "You guys can't be here. Get out of here." And they said, okay, and they left. This pickup truck kept going up and down the street constantly to make sure they were gone. And one of the YouTubers says, "Did you see where he went?" He said, "Yes." Well, they followed him. It was to the house up in front of Nancy's house. And when they got there, two guys turned around so they couldn't be seen. They drove away, and then when they came back, 3 cars and a box truck left that yard very quickly and didn't even look around. What do you think the odds were that they might have kept Nancy in the area, and then they waited till all the press and the YouTubers are gone, and then they moved her?
Well, anything is possible. Right? You never take it off of the plate. Suspects have been known to come back and see their work, a la Brian Koberger the next morning, parking up on the hill. So, whoever has done this is probably listening to your question and our answer and this program. They're watching because they're going to, like you and like everybody else, they're going to follow every piece of this puzzle to make sure that they've crossed the T's and dotted the I's. And so far, they're, to use a Red Sox analogy, Padres 1, Red Sox 0 right now.
Yeah.
You're really proud of a team who has never won a World Series before.
You know what? Yeah. Edwin knows where I'm coming from. He gets it.
Yeah. I love your panel.
Thank you.
I wasn't a police officer, but I was a firefighter for 39 years.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for your service, brother. Appreciate you.
Yep. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you for answering my question, and you guys have a great night.
Yes, sir. Have a good
Thanks,
evening.
Edwin.
Stay safe, my friend. What a great caller, that guy.
Edwin. Love him.
In Boston, a firefighter in Boston. Can you imagine that? Holy cow.
You stay busy.
That guy's seen everything. I'll guarantee it. All right, Linda Lou, you are back. Linda Lou.
Hi,
back.
can you hear me now?
Yes. How are you? Thank you so
Great.
much for your patience. I'm so sorry
No,
you're
I
having
just
a-
didn't know how to turn off my YouTube.
Okay, you're in. What's up?
Love the show, love the interview room, love Buddy and Karen,
Thank you.
Josh, Bob, everybody. Who have I missed? Dr. Gary.
Yeah.
Anyway,
He's on a train getting robbed as we speak.
I got a couple questions. I kind of wish Dr. Gary could hear this one too. First one is I want to know if has anybody talked about that? What do you call it? The casita, the guest house? Did they look up did they check for evidence? And I've never heard anybody, maybe I was always thinking the guy maybe hid there when Nancy, let's say if she was brought back to the house, if the guy could have hid there, or maybe he could have stayed there for a while watching her.
Well,
Bob?
yeah, no question that they not only searched it, the initial deputies searched it, I'm certain, and they processed that for evidence. They, meaning the detectives and the FBI, undoubtedly did that. We also saw the FBI on the roof of the main home, and also
Right.
of the guest house or the pool house or an ADU, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
So they were there and they processed it. I'm
Okay.
confident of that.
I just never heard anyone comment about that, or about maybe the suspect having stayed there for a while, breaking in, or having hid out there for a while, or maybe even that night.
Well, it's possible, but it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, with respect to not releasing too much information to the public and the media. So it could be, and we just don't know it.
Okay. And I've got one more question. This is kind of for you, Chris, and Dr. Gary. I know, Chris, when you've gone to crime scenes, you always talk about looking at the area and what is seen, and then thinking what is missing, what is not there. And I was thinking, along with what Dr. Gary said, it maybe being an elimination crime. If that were the case, maybe it's not somebody that Nancy or her family hired. Maybe it's somebody she did not hire and they're ticked off. Like they did not get a job, let's say painting the house, doing whatever, but they did not hire this guy. And so he's got it out for them. And that was just something I thought of. Just wanted to know what you thought about that.
That's a great point. I think with this type of planning and the amount of planning that went into this, to the point where right now the suspect, is up on us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this idea of how much time the person spent to lower their risk tells us that the person that has actually got her out of the house, I think. I'm still in the camp. There's at least two people. I could be wrong, but
Mm-hmm.
I would be leaning, if I was investigating this, at least start, trying to stay focused on two people, right?
Okay.
And meaning I've always felt that it's a very difficult task to manage, her getting for the house and then into some type of vehicle. And then, unless she's completely out of it, where they've injured her where that one person, if it's a one person scenario, they've injured her. Yeah. They've injured her to the point where she can't respond, et cetera. Worst scenario. But I don't see that as the goal here.
So are you saying you don't think it's an elimination murder then?
Well, I think the goal was to get her out of the house. I'm still up in this idea that says, okay, now that we got her, what are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's more things leaning towards, okay, I've done my job, i.e. the guy on the porch, the chef, to Gary's point, right? The chef and the waiter concept. Okay.
Right. Right.
I think the waiter has accomplished the task. I don't think that person's deceased like others may. I don't think that. That's way too risky, even for the secondary, the chef at that point, because now that person's got two people potentially that are deceased, and that raises their risk even further. Criminals a lot of times, will take a chance that one will keep their mouth shut, or else they'll threaten them. Okay,
Right.
but they won't follow through with it. There's a lot of threats, but a lot of times it doesn't happen. So I'm not in the camp that the waiter's been eliminated.
Okay.
But I am in the camp that person is not as sophisticated as the second guy behind the curtain. Josh, you have a thought? Oh, you're Josh stepping up for a minute.
I do.
Right back.
Yeah, I'm also in the camp that there is a chef and a waiter and perhaps a busboy lurking around. So there could be three. I think I'm pretty
Who's
certain
the
that there were.
Would you
that
put
there
him
are
as
at
the
least?
driver?
I'm sorry.
The driver?
Yes, because remember, the waiter had a walkie-talkie, and I'm convinced it was a walkie-talkie, as I've said
Right.
previously. So, so I do think that there are at least two and perhaps three. The whether or not the busboy is a driver or just a second person, perhaps in the house, I don't know, but that's what I think. And I know the point I was trying to make. I'm with Chris. I don't think that the waiter has been eliminated. I think I agree with Chris. It's too risky. And I just don't think that occurred. There's nothing to indicate that to me, at least in my mind, why they would do that. So I think it's obviously a very close knit group, whether it's two or three. And so far they've been able to keep things quiet. So we'll see if that lasts.
Yeah, back to my question though, I'm thinking like how well do you think one or two of these suspects then knew Nancy? I mean, could it have been somebody that she did not hire that they were just ticked off about? Somebody that from the past, from the family that knows this person, but this person's got like a grudge. I don't know if you go with that theory or kind of like maybe ransom, kidnapping, something went wrong, and then they took her out of the house.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Those are great points, Linda. I'm gonna let you run for a minute and then answer your question. I'm not gonna not answer your question or your comment. Okay, because there's like six people behind you. I want to be. Yep. And okay, so I'm gonna answer your question about a grudge and all this other, the thought that you just presented. That is definitely something that can be in play here in terms of, from my perspective. But I don't think that's going to be the total motivation in this thing. Because you could have just killed her in the house or taken her and just did whatever you needed to do in the house to cause the pain and affliction to the other people in the surrounding environment, i.e. the family. If this was a grudge against, let's say, Savannah, from a stranger, let's use a stranger analogy, okay? Well, you just hurt her mother. Just hurt her in the house. Now you got payback. And you leave. Okay? But the fact that they took her out of the house shows that there's the grudge is much bigger if that was the principle. It's much, much bigger because we're taking her, i.e. we're possessing her. We own her. You don't own her anymore. That's not grudge anymore. Okay. That now moves into revenge. And that emotion in of itself is at a whole different level than just somebody saying, oh, okay, yeah, that person just, flipped me. Remember the kid when you were in junior high that would sit behind you and pull your hair, okay, and you built up that type of resentment. We have an example of that with the Tepe murder, who went to Ohio, right? That guy spent 10 years forming this anger, revenge. That grudge turned into all of that stuff. But what did he do? He eliminated it at the spot. He went to the house. He traveled 300 miles with that feeling of, I'm going to fix this. And he fixed it that day in his head. And he executed his ex-wife and he executed the new husband in front of the children. That's the kind of anger that it would take for somebody. You'd have to measure that anger against Savannah. For somebody to say, okay, I hate her so much, I'm just going to go take her mom. No, I think it's much simpler than that. I think it's going to be, something along a financial end somewhere, or there's going to be a connection there because the suspect introduced the finances, if those notes are correct. The suspect's actions of taking the mother did not introduce the financial wherewithal. And so then we have to ask ourselves, well, is that stuff just noise? And is it somebody taking advantage, i.e. like the guy in Hawthorne? Or is there more to this? And that's why I've always been concerned about the guy in Hawthorne and, what's his connection to this, et cetera. So that's just my 2 cents, Bob. And then thank you so much for calling in, Linda Lewin, for your patience. I'm glad you figured it out because we're going to go to Dom here in a second after Bob and Josh weigh in on your comment.
I'll make it real quick. I pretty much agree with just about everything you said. So I don't have much more to add.
I didn't hear the question. I was using the restroom.
They wanted to know where Nancy was. You step away for a minute and put your Giants hat back on because you guys are losing. Okay, let's go to Dom. You're up. Dom, thank you for your patience. Hi.
Well, thank you very much for taking my call.
Yes, ma'am. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm at work, so I got to find a quiet spot to get to real quick.
Okay.
Here I am. I have an outlandish question, like
All right.
way left field that you can't even see the ball.
No problem.
So what if the FBI sniffer actually did find Nancy? Would the FBI be able to withhold that information from the public? And that's why the family, the local law enforcement has done zero in search efforts because Nancy has already been found.
No. Because they have an obligation to notify the coroner's office, the medical examiner's office. The medical examiners would have to recover the body, and then they'd have to notify next of kin.
Yep.
Well, but they don't have to notify the public, though, do they?
No, they don't. But you would think Savannah wouldn't be going day to day on Mother's Day putting out notices saying, I'm still looking for my mom.
It would be next to impossible to keep something like that under.
Well, then it drives me insane that there's no active searches for Miss Nancy. So I was just hoping there was a real reason why there isn't an organized search. So that's why my left field.
No,
maybe they found her.
You're fine, and we're gonna play a new game real fast. You're gonna be the first contestant. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, we're gonna try to guess your accent and what state.
Good luck.
Wait. Can she say the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plains first?
Okay, I'm going with Midwest, and she
The
could
rain
be.
in Spain stays mainly in the plain.
You can't sing it. That takes away the.
Oh, okay. The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain.
So she
How
may
about I'll give you a real good
in
hint. My
East
old
Coast.
accent was I like to go and get a sandwich and some coffee, and I'm going to go downstairs.
Oh, you're Boston. Done.
Long Island. I used to be a Long Island girl.
Long Island girl. Oh, dang it. I'm
And
negative.
now I've been in Washington State for 35 years. That's why my accent is all screwed up.
Okay, well, you're
Thank you,
contestant
gentlemen.
number one. You were the first one to play. Guess my accent on the interview room. Thanks, Dom. Have a great night.
All right. Thank you. You guys
Have a
too.
good night,
Bye-bye.
Don.
Good night.
Kelly's up. Kelly, you're in the program. Kelly, I'm going to unmute your mic. Kelly. All right. Well, you're figuring out your mic. I'm going to go to Loreno. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. How do you pronounce your name? Loreno. Lorena. Well, thank you. You're in the program.
Oh, hi, Chris.
Hey, young lady, what's your question?
I've been waiting to talk to you. All right, I'm not saying that this is against the family, but I just have, because it's not fair to,
Wait, can I just say that she's from New York, please?
Josh, be nice, Josh. I won't come on your channel anymore.
Jersey.
No, I'm not Jersey. But okay. Can you answer? I've been wondering this. Why with a platform that Nancy has, not Nancy, sorry, Savannah, with her platform and her going back to work, wouldn't it be normal for anyone? I know I would be like this. If my mom was missing and I had to go back to work or life goes on, so on, wouldn't you say to that like news station, I will come back, but I need at the end of every show for you to put my mom's picture up there and give me 5 seconds to say, I am looking for my mom. Anyone with questions, Bob, anyone with answers or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you not stand on the rooftop screaming about nanos, screaming, or maybe if you can't do that because you don't want to screw up the investigation, maybe just like ask questions. Find my mom. Where's my mom? Help me find my mom. No? Don't that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense. And
why isn't it?
We don't know what kind of constraints she's under by contract with NBC or something to that effect, right? They could be, she probably wants to do that. And that's why she's done it on her Instagram page, outside of the other side. Right. But,
so she is putting stuff out on Instagram.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know, but I love your point. Your point is valid. 1,000%.
We'll be on YouTube yelling and saying, please help. We all do everything we could. If I had a platform like that, I would say, listen, if I am this successful and you want me back on your station, I will come back to work, but you got to help find my mother. Like, I'm not going to come back. I don't need to come back. You need me. I don't need you.
Totally agree.
Over millions of dollars. How much do you need to live?
Totally agree. Totally agree. What part of New York? What borough?
I was anywhere from.
Wait a minute. Wait. I bet she's from New York, but she lives in Florida.
Number 2. First time ever. Guess my accent on the interview.
Let me just take it one step. I think she's from New York, but that she lives in Florida now. That's just my guess.
Oh, because you know me, Josh. I'm gonna.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Oh yeah, you guys.
I love you guys.
You sent a ringer. All right, young lady. Have a good night.
I'll see you at Crime Con.
Yes, please.
All right. Looking for
Bye.
you. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Good night.
She calls
She's
in.
awesome. All right. Ehan.
Yeah.
Ehan. How are you?
Hi, Chris,
How are you?
Josh, Bob.
Hi.
Hi,
Hello.
Boston here. I've
All
been.
right.
Oh, what is-
Beantown's in the house.
What is going on tonight?
Yeah, there's a lot of, a lot of.
We love it. Keep going. Park the car. Go ahead. Run.
Well, it was about 92 degrees here, so I think everyone's really, extremely hot. Okay, there's a couple of things I think about with this case. If Nanos is removed, right, and sounds like he wants to be, or from this case, do all of the things that he implemented get eliminated, like the fact that he's decided to, clear the family and the things that he's done? Would some of those things get reenacted, reversed, or do they stay in place? How does that work if he gets removed?
Bob?
Well, so when Nanos cleared the family, that was nothing formal. That was his opinion. At least it appears to be his opinion, because we have not heard the FBI echo that sentiment.
I see.
And so I wouldn't put a lot of stock, as I said earlier, in much changing if Nanos leaves office, or I don't think this is going to happen, by the way. I don't think he's going to leave office, and I don't think he's going to bow out of this investigation. However, if he did do that, there's not much that's going to change, at least in my opinion. They have put a lot of work into this case, and they're not just going to wipe the slate clean and start all over again. I think probably the biggest thing that would occur if Nanos left this investigation is you probably get maybe a little bit of a boost, a morale boost, perhaps. And same thing if he left office. And I'm not a resident of Pima County. I'm not calling for him to leave office or anything like that. But that's just my sense of this Nanos issue at this point.
Thank you. I was happy to hear you talk, Bob, tonight about the fact that I heard it a long, long time ago. There were cameras inside of her house that potentially family members were able to see images from. And I thought I just heard that, or someone said it, and it really didn't make any sense, but I'm glad that I heard it again from you. The last thing I was sort of wondering about is, a lot of times they say follow the money. And, I did some research on basically what Nancy was worth, and she accumulated quite a bit of, she worked for over 30 years and had a great pension from the University of Arizona. She had I believe that they were talking about the fact that she had a really big, I'm not sure if it's hearsay, but she had a big life insurance policy. She's got a house that's well worth over $1 million. It looks like she could be well worth over $2.5 million herself. And there was someone said something about, and I can't remember if it was if it was in the interview room, but they said that the guy on the porch might have had a computer in his bag, and that when he was in there with her, that he was going through all her stocks and trying to clean her finances out. And I've heard about things like that, but the fact that she was worth so much I just can't stop thinking about the fact that that could be connected to why this happened to her.
Well, it could be. And, we don't know what was in the backpack. There could have been something in there. Chris said recently that he thought maybe there was a drone in there. Getting a closer look at the backpack, I do believe that there was some type of tarp or a blanket or something like that in there, but there were other items in. You could see let's see, how do I say? You could see a difference in the curvature of the backpack. Okay, so it looked like there was something small on the outside area of the backpack, and then something larger closer to the back. I guess is the best way to describe it. But let me address something to your first question too. So somebody in the comments here said that Nanos issued a formal statement from the sheriff's office with respect to clearing the family. And that is true. He did put something in writing. And I don't know if that was on, I think it was something like a tweet or just, and maybe it was a formal statement on sheriff's office letterhead, and that's fine. But really, in my opinion, the only entity that can formally clear somebody in a case like this, or any criminal case for that matter, is the prosecutor. And that has not happened. So, and again, this is not passing judgment on the family. I'm not suggesting the family was involved, but the question was with respect to Nanos clearing the family. I think he did that on his own, and it was probably not in lockstep with the FBI. At least that's my opinion. So whether or not he puts it in writing in a tweet or puts it on sheriff's letterhead and issues it, I don't think it really matters either way. It's not anything formal. There's no formal process unless a prosecutor comes out and clears someone of any criminal culpability. So that's how it normally works in most jurisdictions.
What do you think the purpose of that was? Was it just to take some heat off of them?
Perhaps.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's,
And,
that's what it felt like.
Yeah, I agree.
Because there were a lot of people looking at the family in the beginning.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess it could be one of those things where, but once again, say it comes back to, just a hypothetical situation. Say it comes back to, them, and it goes to trial. I mean, could that statement that they're cleared be used at trial for anything?
Yes,
it's always going to be used.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would be like, well, how are you so sure of it? And then you have the letterhead tweet or whatever it was, but it was on like a letterhead, digitally.
Well, just let's play Murdoch. Okay. And Sled. You put the lead guy on there and you say, isn't it true you cleared Alex?
Yeah, right.
Can you imagine Poot or Jim with that information? And I mean, today now he's getting a new trial, and they're saying it's some other dude. There's DNA under her fingernails. Well, but they failed to tell the public in that press conference that he shot her from about 15 feet. You're not going to have DNA under your fingernails. Okay. She probably has DNA under her fingernails. For all we know, it's her manicurist. We don't know.
It could have been a lot of. It could have been a bunch.
But if you're a good defense attorney like Harpoolian is, and who's going to CrimeCon, and they're going to make a run out of this, I'd say, yeah, it's some other dude did it, not my guy. And that's, just the play. Ihan, you are the best. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you very much.
Have a good
Great
night.
You
Yep.
too.
Stay safe. Appreciate your call. All right. Lucky. Love this. Lucky, you're in the show.
Hello, how are you?
Hello. I feel lucky. I'm doing well. Thank you.
You will be, because I'm a psychic, but I'm not going to go into that right now.
Awesome. No worries.
My family doesn't allow me to play family games with them because they lose
No
money.
problem. And
yeah, they're not allowed to Monopoly night.
No games, no gambling or anything.
No
Hmm.
I
games.
win all the time. But this is not about my
Well, they're
psychic
bad
abilities.
at it,
But
though. I mean, maybe they're just bad at it.
no, it's because I can tell what's going to happen before it happens.
See, I told you, Bob. I told you Bigfoot exists.
Okay, but we're gonna play. You're the third contestant. Before you answer anything, okay, what country am I gonna say your accent's from?
The United States.
Yeah.
But that's not a, that's
No.
not a,
Okay, I'm going Puerto Rico.
I said Guatemala.
half and half. My
Ah.
parents, my mom was Cuban and my father is Puerto Rican.
Not bad.
Okay, 2-1. We got one.
No.
Okay.
But the
go ahead.
country is the
What-
United States. You said the country, so.
Yes, of course. What's your call or what's your
Okay.
question?
Yes. First of all, I never thought this was about money. Absolutely not. This was, for me, it was about payback, getting revenge and attention. I think that Savannah might have been getting something before all of this happened and she wasn't paying attention. And so for her to see what he wanted or what he wanted to get from her, this is how he got her attention. And I find it coincidental that when she went back to the show, that that note came out just as a reminder that I'm still here, that I did this. Now I have your attention, but I never thought it was about money. Um, my other comment is, do you guys think that I believe that it was more than one person. I thought it was one person at the beginning, which is what I'm stating, but he might have gotten help from someone else. Um, I think they were going to come in through the back. Um, and that's why they propped the doors open or something like that. I live in the suburbs and by the woods, and I don't leave my doors open at all or anything like that, no matter what. But anyway, back to what I was saying. But I'm a little nervous to what I was saying. I think that something went wrong. They were inside. The They left the doors open just to get her out through there, but because of maybe some noise or the dogs or whatever, they decided to go through the front. They sent the guy through the front. I think that guy came through the back. He came in through the front, and he's not as ignorant or maybe an idiot as we all think. I think that he used all of those things in his hands to cover the camera so that you won't see the car in the back when you take her out. Something happened on the way out. They hit her, but I really think that that guy that was in the porch came in through the back, was in the front, and all that distractions. That doesn't convince me. I think that that was to cover the camera from you guys, from anybody seeing the car while they take her out, because that nobody acts that that idiotic and then gets away with something like this. I think it was an act to just cover the camera with the bushes, whatever he had in his hand. So that's my thinking. I think that they took her out to the front, but that was a distraction to for us to not be able to see the car that they took her in. Those are my thoughts.
Awesome. Well, that is a great opinion and some valid points there, Lucky. Thank you so much. And we appreciate your support to the program very, very
Yes.
much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Muchas gracias. Have a good evening.
Adios. Bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. Little Miss Red Velvet from the UK. Welcome to the program.
Hi there, Chris, Josh, Bob. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we've got you. How are you?
Chris, I
Thank
think
you
he's
for
from
calling
the
in.
UK.
I'm awake at 4:45 and I saw you were live, Chris, and I got up, I've set up my laptop and I've jumped on.
Oh, well, thank you for staying up. I'm so sorry it's so late for you. I apologize. I'm so late.
No, I wanted to, it's great to have a chance to ask you guys, such great experience. And I've listened to you a lot about this case. I wanted to ask you, you know how you have ineffective counsel? Do you think you can have ineffective investigation here? Because it's 4 months and they're saying these guys are not professional, but it's 4 months and they're no further forward. And also, with you talk about task forces, and Do you think there needs to be fresh eyes? And if so, what agencies? I mean, you got FBI here. You know, why are we not any further forward? And just the last point, the family. I really feel for them, but why aren't they more vocal in demanding answers from this sheriff? Why are they not more vocal? And where are the other two siblings? A lot of focus and pressure is on Savannah here because she's the well-known one. But why are the other two not a bit more vocal? If it was my mother, I'd be really vocal.
Great question. So there's three of them. So Bob, what do you
Let me
think?
take the last one. Just my opinion. I believe that the Guthrie family has just decided just to stay quiet and let the police do the police work. You know, you can disagree with that, but I think that that's probably what they have decided to do as a family. And I mean the entire family, Tommaso, Annie, Cameron, and Savannah. That's what I think.
Yeah, I respect that.
Okay. And then ineffective investigation. We don't have a system in the United States that, you know, you can just remove, you know, somebody. Now, the sheriff's department, the sheriff could remove an investigator. I would, you know, sometimes to your point, it would be probably beneficial in a situation like this initially because of the potential missteps in the very beginning. That's probably going to, you know, strike us pretty hard ultimately in trial. And so the purpose of that task force was just for your point. They saw those missteps, and essentially by creating a task force, they have basically created a new avenue of investigation because they realized the investigation that they had was being ineffective. So almost like ineffective counsel, but they just transferred it over to the task force, where more minds got involved, and you know, a lot of times more problems get solved.
Yeah,
So,
Chris, also with the ineffective, you know, investigation, that's really the defense's. That's really what the defense goes after. A lot of the time, it's their duty to point out, you know, bad police work or bad investigations or things like that. So, also, and I think that Bob's right. I think as a family, they've probably made a decision that anything that they say, you know, is going to be used, you know, as, you know, whatever, you know, if they come out and say, you know, we're pleading, and they make like another video, you know, people will be all over it. And it's just maybe, you know, maybe the FBI has asked them not to comment, or maybe the sheriff's department, you know, and maybe they're working with them. Also, I don't think it would behoove them to trash the people that are investigating the disappearance of their mother, or their mother, you know, during an ongoing investigation. I mean, I think that you would want to try to stay in as good a standing with them as long as you feel like they're putting their proper foot forward. I mean, that's what I think.
You know, Nanos Nanos came out a few days ago and admitted that he is no longer communicating with the family. So I think the communication is through the FBI, and that's a good thing at this point, and with everything that's occurred in this investigation, in my opinion.
Could I ask, if you guys were in charge, what would you do now?
I'd start back at square one and digest all the information, all the great work that they've done up to this point. I would not be holding my breath personally, Miss Red Velvet, that on the DNA. I don't think the DNA is going to be a big factor here unless it's a 1,000% total stranger. I'm not holding my breath on that. It's going to be somebody in the orbit here, from my opinion. I mean, so I would start with square one. I'd go back to the very moment that young lady got into an Uber, and I would re-interview that Uber driver. I'd start all over. I'd watch all those videos, and then from there, I would make sure that I spoke to the family members all over again, and I would, reinvestigate it from that position, and then from there work myself back into the house. I wouldn't start at the house and work myself out. I'd work with the last person that saw them, that saw her, because that's the golden rule. Who last saw her alive? And then I'd want to flush out that victimology through them. Tell me what you saw. Tell me what you felt. Tell me what she was doing. Tell me how she was acting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'd lock it all down again. And then I'd reverse engineer that back into what the evidence shows us in the house. And then I'd reverse engineer that into the evidence that shows us on video. What does the video show us? And those pieces, then you can extend out into a wider, you could expand your crime scene out into what's coming into the neighborhood, not that what you see around the house right away. Because if this suspect was surveilling that neighborhood and they have a vehicle, it's much easier to find that car at this point than it is to find her body in the desert. You find that car, you can do a link analysis in relationship to what evidence is in those cars, and then you can kind of figure out if she's alive or deceased, and then you can try to figure out where the dump site is. Don't try to look for the dump site and work your way back. Work for the car and work towards the dump site, the opposite. And a lot of investigators don't do that. The cases that I worked, I did that, and I had a 90% solvability rate. That's the difference between experience and somebody that's actually done it and somebody that talks about it on YouTube.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I really appreciate that, because it's. Do you think it's going to turn into a cold case?
No.
Right. That's good.
You're an amazing young lady for staying up with us this evening. Thank you so much for supporting us, by the way.
I love the show, Chris.
Just
I love
being
the
here.
show. I think you're great. You tell great stories.
You're
I absolutely
so
love
good.
your stories.
You're very kind, and I hope I get to meet you one day. Sincerely.
Lovely. Take care. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Good night. Okay, Melissa, you're coming into the show. Hi, Melissa. Melissa, are you there? Oh, you got to unmute. You're muted on your side. Whoops, where'd she go? All right. She just stepped off for a moment. Joyce is not connected either. Patty, welcome to the program. How are you?
Hi, good. I've called in before. I'm from the land of Fran Tarkington and Tommy Kramer.
The Vikings. Woohoo, go.
That's right. I have to tell you, I'm more of a cheesehead.
Awesome.
Anyway, well, I wanted to call in and just say something about the Nancy Guthrie case, because it really bothers me. I have elderly parents that I cared for every day for 10 years, and so it feels really close to my heart. But I think I remember you saying that you've looked at quite a bit of video of different things in the neighborhood, and you've never really seen anyone dressed up in that getup that man was wearing that night.
Well, it wasn't the getup; it was the face covering.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to tell you, I believe, I don't know if I can say her name, but another person who has a show, I think it was Nancy Grace, maybe 6-7 weeks into this thing, she was showing a different footage that she had found, and there were sometimes a team of 3 or 4 caught on someone's camera.
Right.
And I've noticed something that no one's ever talked about, and I just wanted to run it past you. And I really do not think that that person was a woman at all. But in one of these videos that Nancy was showing, 3 or 4 people were walking through a yard, and as they walked past the camera, as they were leaving, the tall one put his hand on kind of the small of the other one's back, almost like she was a woman and he was a protective boyfriend or something. And so I really didn't think a woman was involved at all until I saw that. And I don't know if you guys ever saw those, but that was just something that was interesting to me that made me think.
Yeah, no, Patty. I mean, so I, like you and like everybody, when this thing first went down, the obvious stuff was what was online already, right? In the neighborhoods, the Ring cameras and and then you see the Amazon package game where they ring the doorbell, drop the package, et cetera, and if nobody answers, then they make entry. Okay, that's a burglary crew. And then there's another crew from South America. There's a lot of organized crime, theft rings that that are running crazy in the United States right now. LA and Orange County and Southern California are just inundated with crews of these individuals going around. Some of those are very sophisticated. They do wear the type of mask, the type of clothing that you would see on the video with Nancy Guthrie. However, they work in major teams, and the one thing that we have to consider here, I can't take it off the table. Bob probably wouldn't take it off the table, nor Josh. Is the thought process of what time are they striking the house? Okay. And once they do that, what are they doing once they're inside? They're stealing stuff. That the whole intent to go into these homes, these houses in Beverly Hills and all this other stuff. Okay. Well, they're selecting Beverly Hills for a reason. That's where all the stuff is. They're selecting, a lot of these high-end neighborhoods for a reason. Okay. So now we have to say, okay, what are they doing to get to these homes, and how much surveillance are they putting into it? Or are they just doing, let's just drive by, check it out, see if there's anybody there. You'll notice most of these burglary crews are going up and they're checking doors and windows, or they're ringing doorbells. Why are they doing that? Well, because they want to know if there's anybody in that house. And typically, if somebody is in that house, they'll abandon that home. It's very rare you get them breaking into the house, okay, and then, stealing just stuff. Because if it's a 2-story home, they got to go upstairs. Well, what if there's somebody sleeping? They take a higher risk, especially in the United States of America with the Second Amendment, of somebody standing at the hallway with a weapon saying, "Welcome to my home. You are no longer needed here. So we'll just leave you at the bottom of the stairs, up. Okay. Because in the United States, you can defend your castle. And, I had a case one time, a World War II veteran sat at the end of his hallway. Bob, maybe you remember this one. It was in the trailer park in the 1500 block of Hill. And he was a World War II veteran, and he sat in a rocking chair at the end of a hallway. He would sleep in his rocking chair at night, and some stupid idiot broke into his house, and he was halfway through the window, and the guy shot him.
Oh, yes. I heard about something like that.
Yeah.
I think I was just thinking, maybe I was just thinking too hard about this, thinking that it was a group of people, but then why would they come there and take her instead of her things?
Well, and not only that, why would they, once they took her, right, to your point, Patty, and this is a great call. Why would they take her without taking her stuff?
Exactly.
If she's Savannah Guthrie's mother, there's got to be, trinkets in there that belong to Savannah. That has a lot of value. If Savannah's the target, why not steal her stuff? Why not go into her childhood bedroom and take her stuff? Because, see, that's possession for the suspect, because that lets them relive their fantasy that I have a piece of Savannah. I not only have a piece of Savannah, I have Savannah's mother. Okay. But I need Savannah. If the motivation is an obsession with Savannah, okay, well then take her stuff. You're at her house. She grew up there. Go into her bedroom, steal her stuff. You can bet that the mother has her stuff up on the wall. You have children, Patty? May I ask?
No, no,
Okay.
I don't.
But your mother, right? Did your mother have your stuff up on the wall?
Oh my gosh, things that I thought were hideous that she just loved to her last days.
There you go.
But yeah, she had a lot of stuff.
So those are the kind of things that we have to think through in the suspectology. Why is the suspect leaving that stuff behind? If this is an obsession with, let's go down that lane. If this is an obsession with Savannah, well, guess what? You're in her house. You're at her house. That's the reason you went over there. Take her stuff. A lot of it. Put it in your backpack. Not her mother. Right? Why are you taking her mother?
Yes.
Is that the ultimate revenge to take her mother?
Well, I didn't think that far into it. That's why I called you. So that's good the way you're breaking it down for me.
Well, that's just one thought process to go down. But again,
It makes a lot of sense.
And you know what? Most of the time, that common sense has been lost in a lot of investigative processes. And working with the Cold Case Foundation on a daily basis, we see it all over the country. These guys go for years in lanes that you just say, well, wait a minute. What about this over here? Have you thought about this? And when they have a paradigm shift, remember that famous story, the guy on the train, and he looks over and he sees the kids, jumping all over, the chairs and stuff. And he leans over to the father and he says, hey, can I ask you a question? He says, yeah. He says, why don't you teach your kids how to be better well-behaved on the train? And the father looks at him and he says, you know what? You're right. I'm so sorry. Their mother just died. And I haven't figured out how to tell them yet.
Oh.
That's a paradigm shift. How did you feel when you heard that? Okay.
Yes.
That is sometimes necessary for investigators to step back and say, maybe I'm missing something. I need to go back to square one and start from square one. So I hope that answered your question. I know it was a long dissertation. But
no, it was fabulous. And it just reminds me why you guys are the detectives and I'm not. And I can move past that now. But it's hard for a person to imagine that this could happen. So it really sticks with me. And I just really appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you, Patty. And I'm gonna buy a Viking helmet now.
Absolutely. And I'm going to enjoy the rest of your show.
All right, young lady. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, Sandra from Florida. You are the second to the last caller tonight.
Okay, let me try this.
No worries. You should see me drive.
So, do I have to mute it or it's okay?
We can hear you
fine.
fine.
You're fine. Yeah.
All right, this first time ever.
Thank you.
So I just want to rattle off a bunch because so you guys just pay attention and take notes.
Okay.
And maybe you can give me answers. Okay. So the woman screaming in the car with no tag, wasn't that the same time as the abduction of Nancy? And was it a decoy? That's one. Two, the sheriff isn't that dumb unless he just wanted to not let the FBI come in, so he released it. But could he be compromised, blackmailed, or bribed? So the monk, he mentioned that he thought the guy fell off a ladder and why he was walking so funny, and his arm was the way it was. Then, so I was wondering if maybe the tracks was ladder being dragged. Then another thing I heard a long time ago in the beginning, that the cameras inside the house were disabled from the inside forward to the front door. That direction. Okay, I've got a couple more and then I'm done. the first perp date with his mask covered, is it possible he could be someone just looking like the perp was going to look to set the guy up? Because he just to set him up and make him think it was going to be him. He already knew what he was going to wear. And then I was wondering, I don't think it's really Tommaso. If he owed all this money, maybe people that he owed took it upon themselves to do this. And the last is Savannah. It kind of aggravates me because it seems like she could, with those Cajun Navy and all the things they could do, she's got to have some kind of power somewhere to at least let them go look. They were there, and there's so many people missing. Why can't maybe bring closures to other? I'm done. Never done this before.
You're fine, Sandra. Josh?
You know what? I just don't think it's up to Savannah how the searches go. I believe that, that they can do independent searches, but the problem is, like, where would you even start?
Wherever the Cajun Navy wanted to go. I mean,
but
they were there.
But the Cajun Navy's not going to come in without the approval of the sheriff. And there has to be, or the FBI or whoever, and there has to be a reason. I don't know what that reason would be, but there has to be a reason that they're not searching in that way. But I think that there's a lot more searching that has been going on that we probably just don't know about. I think that to cover that amount of desert is just, I mean, you're looking.
Oh, it looks great. It looks totally crazy.
Well, you're not looking for a needle in a haystack. You're looking for the haystack first. So, I mean, it's almost an unfathomable, your chances of just coming across, somebody out there like that is pretty slim.
So does anybody know if the woman screaming was at the same time in that car with no tag on it? Was that at the same time in Nancy's abduction?
That I don't know.
I don't know if that's ever been confirmed.
People said it was cleared, and there was a lot of talking about it, but they said it was cleared, but I didn't know who it was cleared by, and that just seemed kind of weird.
Yeah, no doubt that it sounded
like a decoy.
Or just a weird situation.
People in the
comments get their fries correct out of McDonald's and
talking to the callers, and it was awesome, man. So I appreciate you having me on as always.
Anytime, Bobby.
Right. Likewise, appreciate it.
All right, man.
Interesting show.
Aloha, everybody. See you on the next one.
All right.
Hard working every day, I'm stressed out 24/7, babe. No timeouts, wish we could fly away. You and I go to our favorite place. Oh yeah, make special memories together. I'll be your company now and forever. I say we fly away. You and me go to our favorite place. Feeling the sun on my face in Hawaii. With you, Hawaii. With you, Hawaii. With you, Hawaii. I need a summer breeze, some fresh air to put my mind at ease. No cares. You wanna come with me? Me and you go to our favorite tree. Are you ready now? We jump on a plane now. We're taking away. Yeah, we're taking away. Don't hesitate now. We're taking away. Yeah, we're taking away. We'll never come down. We're gonna